there's always going to be at least one dislike. Might as well get it out of the way early. You know what I mean? How's everybody doing? Wow, it went from like 6 people, bam, 26 people. Hopefully to 2,600 people. You feel me? How's everybody doing today? It's Thursday, and we are going to kick it off today. The Quad Extravaganza Marathon Holiday Weekend with 4 streams for you. Health Coach Kait being the first one. The lineup is there on my channel. If you guys click on the video tab, make sure you guys ask for notifications on the one that you want. Hopefully it's all of them. Today we've got Kait. Tomorrow we've got Evan Rock. That's like super special guest to me because Evan doesn't do live streams with anybody. He doesn't do interviews anymore. Basically, he's an online ghost. So we got Evan coming on tomorrow. He's doing it for me, basically. We talked on the phone the other night. He called me up. I love these people, like real friends. Evan will just call me up out of nowhere just to like talk for an hour and a half on the phone. That's dope. And we always have really good conversations. So, you know, we talked about just a lot of life update stuff, what's going on in Hawaii, what, you know, him and what him and Megan are up to over there and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I love that. So then after Evan, we've got Bobby. Everybody knows Bobby. Saturday. I was really trying to get Frank. More on that in a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I was really trying to get Frank soon. I reached out to him again this week. I was like, Frank, dude, things are heating up on YouTube. It's time to get together. You know, you've got a bunch of like heat going on right now. I'm warmed up. Let's do this. It's our time. He responds back to me. Sorry, you don't get to play both sides. What? What are you talking about, dude? Anyway, I wrote back. I said, excuse me? Like, immediately. Like, who are you talking to, Frank? Didn't respond. He didn't respond. And then the next day, I saw he released a video about another person. We don't even need to name names. All Frank's videos are basically about people. And so I said, is this why you think I'm playing both sides here? Like, what's going on here? And still no response. So I don't know. He's still welcome to come on my show, even with his antics. I want to know what his problem is, to be perfectly honest here. And yeah, we'll see what he has to say. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird thing to say to me. So, I mean, you just kind of see what he's about lately. It's like he's attacking everybody. He's burning every bridge on YouTube. Cargills Chill. Oh yeah, I'm a Cargills Chill. Totally. First time I even heard of that name was the other day because I watched a McLaren video on YouTube, which was very beautifully produced, made by McLaren. And they interview one of the daughters of Cargill. She lives in Colorado, and she's got like 5 McLarens. If you guys don't know what that is, they're like $200,000, $300,000 supercars. Some of them are more. She has $1 million supercar. It's made by McLaren. And I was like, who the fuck is this lady? She's rich, and her mansion is so sick. And anyway, so it's comical. It's comical that people make videos about other people on the internet with all these crazy assumptions, all these conspiracy theories. They don't know these people in real life. It's funny when you do know these people in real life because it's just some of it's true. And I'm not going to get into that. I'm not into the gossip. I'm down with tough conversations. I'm down with drama. I'm down with calling people out, but I'm not down with gossip. This isn't TMZ. I'm not like here to come up with conspiracies about other people that I don't even know. The point of my channel is to get real information out of people. Whether you believe them or not, the questions need to be asked. These are where the conversations happen. These are where people who want to actually learn information from people, you ask them. They give you the answer. Sometimes the answer is kind of bullshit. Sometimes it's not. That's up for you to decide. I saw the Dave Feldman tweets. What is he talking about? He's attacking Dave Feldman over buying a laptop, a MacBook. What is he talking about? Like, it's so easy to sling mud here. You could be like, Frank, where'd you get your funding for your meat company? Huh? Who came along in New York City? What billionaire came and accosted you, Frank? Like, you could make up whatever you want. Frank, you don't know anybody. Calm down. You're burning every bridge on YouTube. And if you don't take it easy, I mean, you can do whatever you want. His channel's growing, right? This is like the thing that works on YouTube. You just keep talking shit, you keep putting people's names in your titles, and you keep growing your channel. And then what happens is you get your channel big enough where people start to believe the things that you say because people are so stupid. I think Frank has good information. I think he's well educated on the subject of carnivory. What's interesting about these people is that they're so good at one thing and they start getting recognition for it. And then they have like this little piece of them that is like the bad angel on their shoulder that they can't resist utilizing their platform to like spread this stupid message. This was the thing with John Rose, the juice fasting guru. This guy was very knowledgeable, allegedly, in the juice fasting world. He has all these clients, he has all these results, blah, 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 whatever. And then he goes off and he starts talking about how the Holocaust didn't happen. Like, dude, stick to juice fasting. You're building a huge community of like these loving vegan biophoton people. And then now you're telling people that the Holocaust didn't happen. It's like, can you really trust what somebody's saying when they have this like little piece of them that is so crazy? Frank, you're growing your channel, but hey, you are proving to be a psycho. I mean, crazy. Anyway, that's enough of that for now. So if you guys want to see Frank on the channel, make sure you guys let him know on his channel. He's not responding to me anymore. So, hey, I tried. I've reached out to a lot of other people too. Tyler Tolman recently, if you guys know who he is, been vegan for like 25 years, still looks pretty good. I've reached out to Robbie Barbero. I've got like Darth Luigi, aka Keto Gains, probably coming on next week. Dave Feldman was scheduled to potentially come on. Paul Saladino's on the hook. I'm not going to promise another 4 stream in a row next week, but yeah, we'll see who we can get. All right, let me catch up with the chat here. How's everybody doing? Sorry for the rant to start things off, everybody, but Kate's going to be on in 20 minutes. I had to get it out there. I know people are going to be asking. Everybody's constantly asking me now, where's Frank? Where's Frank? So, hey, that's what's up. I could show you the email if you want. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, Redheaded Princess, how you doing? Hope you're feeling good. Steve, Pentel, Pat King, Sunshine State, Andy Tames, Mimi 3000. There's so many new names in the chat. What's up, everybody? Ex-vegan mom of 3. Looking handsome as always, Drew. Thank you. I just went to the gym. Girls, what's the favorite weight for a man? Dude, whatever weight you're comfortable at. I've seen, well, we can get more into that in a little bit. Hey, look, Sunshine State says, favorite weight is someone who's confident, strong, and healthy. Atlas Quinn, Drew is my boo. Back off, ladies. Hey, I'm just out here right now, okay? JG Lee, what's up? You hit me with that Cargills Chill. Taylor Marshall, Drew, have you ever tried HCL caps as a vegan? No, never. Simnett used them when he had digestive issues. I've started noticing my digestion getting better. Are you still vegan? What's the deal over there? No, I don't believe in using hydrochloric acid caps. I don't believe in really doing anything. I don't want to take any supplements to heal whatever's wrong with my body, because chances are whatever you're doing right now is what's messing it up. So you need to tweak what you're actually inputting in, not try and take some sort of external, whatever supplement to fix the problem. Planetary Farms, Drew is nice to crazy vegetarian. I'm not sure what Frank thinks he has to worry about. Well, I think, there's so many things Frank could be attacking me for right now. He says I'm playing both sides. It could be because I interview fruitarians. It could be because I'm friends with some of these Cargills Chills that he's attacking recently. I would love for him to attack me as a Cargills Chill. Like, he's so wrong. It's so stupid. I hope you guys can see that. Like, it's so hard for me to hold back. He's so wrong. Jesus Christ. Very strange. Very strange.
And here comes a real steak. But just look at the texture of this thing.
Frank has a live stream in 5 hours. You can hop in and see if he ignores you again or bans you. I don't think he's gonna ban me. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna talk. He can still come on the show. It's cool. Frank, I'll forgive you for your stupid comments. Very interesting way to attack, like, defend yourself / attack somebody. Tell them that they're playing both sides and then not explain yourself. Very interesting. What is with this hair? All right, we're twisting that this way, guys. Oh boy. Oh no, this is a crisis. I'm gonna shut down the stream. Okay. Somebody's gonna clip that. Drew, the narcissist live streamer, can't go on with his hair. Why is everybody such a little bitch on YouTube? Everybody just needs the content. They can't create original content anymore. They don't know what to even talk about. They're always asking their audience, what do you guys want to see from me? Huh? What do you guys want to see from me? What are you interested in? Like, do you have any original thoughts? Do you have original content? Are you capable of doing your own research? Are you interesting? Can you talk to people? Can you entertain people? I don't fucking know. It's crazy. Original content is very hard to come by. That's why you see most people doing reaction videos and like mostly stuff like this. It's like, it's easy to just bash people, you know? I just did a reaction video to John Venus. It was the first one I've ever done on my channel because I was trying to prop him up. The crazy thing is, I had vegans saying, you carnivores can't go a day or a week without criticizing vegans. I was like, dude, I'm supporting your vegan. That's how backwards they are. That video was in support of John Venus. I was saying, why are you vegans criticizing this man? Why are you roasting him? He was honest about eating a few eggs a year ago, and you're tripping out? Oh my God. It's insane, dude. Coco Bora, it's simply because you are more... Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. You know, see, people say nice things. Of course, anybody who's in front of this microphone, whether you're doing edited videos or live streams, they're both difficult to do. And of course, we're going to appreciate the love, you know, but like, you can't let that go to your head, man. I don't care if I have a few thousand subscribers or 1 million subscribers. My goal is to stay exactly like I am right now, no matter what happens. So if it works out, then it works out. If not, then whatever. I'm not going to do this, you know, I'm not going to be playing these games. Sorry, guys. Kate just messaged me. I have to email her real quick with the stream link. Give me 1 second. Catch up with the chat as well. Somebody said Frank is right on a lot of things. I agree. We know there's nothing for us to really argue about. We agree on almost everything. Do I think the EMF is corny? Yeah. Do I think his like metal cage he sleeps in is corny? Yeah. I mean, bro, you live in New York City. Like, move to the jungle if you're trying to get away from the EMF, dog. That's just my opinion on it. I want to tell another story about somebody I knew in Hawaii. Yeah, I'll tell the story. Give me 1 second. It's funny.
And then here we've got some cranberry juice. It's great
for your penis or vagina. So let me tell you a little story in a second here after I email Kate. Multitasking, not my favorite thing to do. Thank God I have multiple monitors, eh? All right. So, done. Thank you for the super chats. Let me read these out loud, by the way. I don't want to ignore you guys. I really, really appreciate any super chats. By the way, guys, I created a list of all the alert donations that are available. If you click in the description, you'll see all the listings of the price brackets. They're denoted by like $1 each, so you could put whatever you want, and you're gonna get a little donation. Each one is different, so keep posting up the ones you like. I'm gonna keep adding to the list too. It's that's a Drew Morg specialty. All right, so ex-vegan mom of 3, please call please call Joey Carbstrong an asshole. I don't know that he's an asshole. I don't agree with his. Something that annoys me about him is I don't like the way that he is so like criminally intense. Does that make sense? If you saw Joey Carbstrong walking down the street and you had 2 little kids on your side and you're a parent and you were like walking and holding their hands, you would cross the street because of the way that he looks. And I know he has a criminal history, but the way he carries himself, the way that he talks to people, and he's so like he uses his physical presence to overpower them, you know? Not to say he's like some intimidating guy, but that's what he attempts to do. That's my assessment of it. I also don't like the way that when he's going through the mall, and I don't know if you guys saw Tristan's recent video with him, Primal Edge Health. He's walking through the mall and he's showing all the vegan options in the mall, and he's like, oh, you don't want that, the chicken, the dead murder, the rape, the torture, the killing. Like, dude, you're so cheesy, bro. You're so corny. Let's see your results. A lot of people are saying he doesn't look that good. James Aspie, not looking that good either. Seeking Truth in Christ, $5 donation. Thank you. Is it possible to look like Ronnie Coleman in his prime with herbs, diet, bovine glandulars, and training? No PEDs, no protein powders, all natural. Is that a real question? Of course not. You know, nobody's gonna look like that ever, 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 ever. I'd say our best knowledge that we have, you should go look up into the golden era of bodybuilding. We're talking like the early 1900s, or what do they call it? The Bronze Era. The Bronze Era. Go look up that. The Bronze Era is the early 1900s. They have black and white photos of these guys. This is before steroids and supplements ever existed. They were on all Whole Foods, of course. That's all that was available. Very pretty primitive, but also a decent understanding of bodybuilding. And these guys looked really good, man. Like, they look like the David statue, you know? Like, they're just fit. They're really well balanced. They don't look like they're overly crazy. Remember, they didn't have fancy machines or weights or anything like that. So, yeah. Oh, the story time. Okay, let me go back to that story I was going to say. Sorry. If I forget a story, guys, be like Drew, finish that story, because I can get sidetracked. So yeah, this girl that I knew in Hawaii, hopefully she's not watching this, but I won't name her name, but basically she's from the Bay Area, and so I'm a computer nerd, right? Like, I've got all my computer equipment in Hawaii. I've got like the fastest internet possible. I've got like my high power computer. And she moved into our house, and she's like, yeah, guys, I just want to let you know that like I'm really sensitive to electromagnetic waves, and I can't sleep without the router being off in the house. And I'm like, we're not doing that. So I ended up caving, which was stupid. I ended up caving and agreeing to turn the internet off at midnight, because I was like, all right, I'm not going to be on the computer past midnight anyway. So we get this like little box that turns the power plug off at a certain time, and it opens it back up at a certain time. So we killed the internet basically at midnight. And then one night I was on the internet real late, and the damn internet turns off in the middle of me like in a game or something. And I was pissed. I was so pissed. And I yanked that thing right out of the wall. It's so you're from the Bay and you're worried about the Wi-Fi in your house. Like, you're triangulated by every cell phone company in the world, and you're trying to say that the router in your house is going to be giving you brain damage. Like, she still has a cell phone. She still has all these things that, you know, she's addicted to all day long. It's just what people, the excuses, not the excuses, it's People don't just want to look at the large body of evidence, the obvious thing. They want to like blame these little fringe things. Oh, it's the EMF waves. It's the chemtrails. I swear to God. That's what ruined my digestion. What are you talking about? So stupid. Sorry. It's just dumb. I might be like extra real today because I got only 6 hours of sleep. I worked out this morning. So I'm going to be light sipping on this coffee. And I'm going to have a late lunch after I eat, or after this stream. So it won't be till 4 p.m. on my time. But hey, we're going to roll with it. 300 pounds ain't healthy. Muscles are not. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman, though, he's recently had back surgery, I believe. And he said that people asked him, they're like, hey, Ronnie, back when you did that 800-pound squat, do you regret it? And he goes, the only thing I regret is not doing 2 reps. That's tight. They're like, that squat probably ruined your back, didn't it, Ronnie? Or training up to that squat. He's like, yeah, but I wish I did 2 reps. That is called owning your shit and taking accountability for your choices. That has to be respected. How are the gains coming? I don't know. Let me see. Let me make my camera bigger so I can actually see. I feel good, man. My arms are tired right now, dude. Oh. You see that? By the way, guys, and this thing's like pretty solid. So I haven't really been gaining weight, and this is something I want to touch upon probably with Bobby on the live stream. You know, Bobby's a fan of using carbs for gaining weight and bodybuilding and more power and stuff like that. God, I really want to do it on a carnivore diet, though. Just for experimentation purposes. Also, the way that I feel eating carnivore, my digestion is just always perfect as a carnivore. It's hard to deny that. I love it. And by the way, so I'm kind of infamous, I guess, for saying I eat factory farm meat. And I also eat some carbs. I eat buns with my burgers and stuff like that. But this week I'm dropping that. I bought all steak this week. So I'm actually technically carnivore right now. At least for the next week. I have not measured my arms, no. They're probably not that big. They're probably like 14 and a half inches or something. Definitely not 16 inches or something like that, which is pretty respectable. I only weigh 146 morning weight, dude. 5'10". I'm not big at all. I'm just kind of lean. It's really hard for me to gain weight eating carnivore style. Really hard. A full disclosure, though, as I'm saying, I'm carnivore. Last night, I got this there was this Kirkland from Costco
And here
cookie
comes a
box.
real steak, but just look at the texture of this thing.
I got this box from Costco here, and it's like all different varieties of chocolates with the little crispy chocolate crisp in the middle. And I had I probably had 300 calories worth of this cookie candy stuff. And within 20 minutes, my stomach was ready to explode with gas. I had to run to the bathroom about an hour later. Not run. Well, extreme. But yeah, it wasn't nice. It's funny because I ate the exact same steak, literally in the same pack. There's 2 steaks in there. I had one earlier for lunch with milk. And then I had one steak for dinner with milk. The steak for lunch was obviously a perfect digestion situation. And then the steak for dinner, because I had those chocolates, I had that massive stomach issue afterwards. It's very clear what is causing your digestive discomfort and issues when you're eating pretty much a carnivore diet. Because the carnivore shit works perfectly, and then you add in the, little whatever, and it doesn't go well. Let me make sure I'm set up for Kait here. She's going to be coming on in a second. Get all carried away here. Start partying too hard with the chat. Okay. Do you do well with milk? Yeah, I've been drinking a lot of milk, actually. About 4 cups a day. So, and it's fine. I eat buns. Drew Morgan, I eat buns, 2019. How much water do you drink per day on average? Probably 6 to 8 cups. plus 4 cups of milk. So I don't know if you're going to consider that like liquid or whatever. Say 8 cups of water. It's not that much. 4 of these per day, probably. 4 full. Each one of those is 2 cups. Don't you dare eat another cookie, Andrew. Drew. Where's Kate? She'll be on in 4 minutes. Just add white rice like Vince Gironda did. Or honey. Yeah, no, those are good options. And I have experimented with white rice before, and it was incredibly powerful for muscle building. I was gaining weight. I was actually gaining weight consistently. And I am gaining weight now, but it's very slow, even with 3,000 calories a day. This is why the whole calories in, calories out thing is not... It's not exactly like how people think it works. 3,000 calories of what? What's the like, what are you eating? Is it fat, protein, carbs? I guarantee you, if you eat a low protein diet, I'd say 30 grams of protein a day, but you somehow eat the rest in 50% fat and 50% carbs, you're going to blow up. You're going to gain a lot of weight. Straight up. Common sense keto. I'm in ketosis every day and eat 150 grams of carbs every morning. Cool. Yeah, I eat about 100 carbs a day. That's my average. Is it necessary? No, but about 40 grams of it comes from my milk. So the rest is like buns, basically. Burger buns. Really Organic says, I would love to see Raw Matt vegan for 20 years and Matt Blackburn at the same time. Matt Blackburn is quite carnivorous, and he and Raw Matt are good friends. Cool. I've been really just so intrigued by the allegedly successful vegans lately. I want to have more of them on my show. Been watching their stuff. Been really trying to study what makes a successful vegan. What is the perfect vegan diet? I'm starting to come to the conclusion that most vegans that are successful long-term don't eat a whole foods plant-based diet. Isn't that interesting? Very strange to me that the nature version of their diet is the most unsustainable version of it. Raw Matt looks really good for 20 years raw. I think the juice people, does he juice a lot? I think the juice people get actually more nutrition from their foods. They seem to hold out a lot better than the whole food plant-based people. Josh Rillick says, how many meals a day? I feel like all bodybuilder guys are eating 5+ meals a day. Yeah, so I started this out the first part of this year. I was doing intermittent fasting 2 meals a day. I was eating a little bit more carbs back then. I was not gaining weight. I was able to make some body composition changes. I have quite a few pictures of that I've shown before. There's some videos back. If you look up the vegan prevention hotline video, you'll see kind of like a prime version of my body back then, where I was doing all calisthenics in my garage, and I was looking pretty solid. And recently I'm in the gym again, so I'm experimenting with that, and I'm doing basically all carnivore with very little carbs. Ooh, we have a caller, and her name is Kate. We'll wait for her to pop in. Kate, can you hear me? I'm sure she can hear me, but there's probably some sound stuff, so we'll let her sort it out for a second. Redhead Princess says, not Whole Foods. Whole Foods effed me up. You need a bit of processed food. See, isn't that weird, though, that you need processed food? I can tell you that the best carnivore foods are the natural foods, are the meat unprocessed, eggs unprocessed. Of course, they're cooked, but you could eat them raw. And that's the other cool, interesting thing, is you could eat it raw and you probably will get even more nutrition and even better digestion out of it. So I find that very interesting. But yeah, so now I'm doing 3 meals a day to finish that point, Josh. I'm doing 3 meals a day, eggs in the morning, 4 of them with a little cheese on top. And welcome to the Morg. Lunch, I usually do about 1 pound of meat, and then dinner, I usually do about 1 pound of meat. And like I said, 2 cups of milk with each of those lunch and dinner meals. So 4 cups of milk, 2 pounds of meat, we'll call it, and then about 4 eggs. And that comes out to around 3,000 calories a day. Bring on Kate. I can see she's here, but I can't see her and I can't hear her yet. So Kate, I don't know if you can see me, but if you're having issues, text me on Instagram. Drew, maybe too much raw foods is the problem, not unprocessed. Do you mean raw? There we go. We got her. Can you hear me, Kate?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Perfect. I got you. I can see you. I can hear you. You ready to pop on?
Cool. Yes, I am.
All right. Guys, we're bringing on our guest, health coach Kate. Welcome to the Drew Morgan channel.
Hello.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me on, Drew.
I know. You guys, Kate is out of control. Me and Kate started YouTube kind of like the same time. We had very similar audience size and channel content, and then you've just been like cranking it. You kill Instagram, you kill YouTube, your channel has exploded, you totally deserve it. I went on a rant earlier about original content, and Kate has original content, guys. So if you want to actually follow somebody who's plowing forward, this is the person. So welcome to the channel, Kate.
Thank you, Drew. I remember one of my first carnivore videos, I think you commented on, and I think that's how we first started talking.
Yeah, I've been like sifting through. YouTube is really good at recommending me like the depths. Maybe it's because of how many videos I watch, which I don't even want to share. It's a very disgusting amount of YouTube that I watch. But like it finds me like the people who are like 1,000 to 3,000 subscribers that are just at the start. It's so good at that. And like, do you watch other people, or how do you get your ideas?
My ideas, mainly not from watching other people. I find when I watch YouTube, I don't want it to be nutrition related. That's kind of my escape. So, and there's just too many people to keep up with. Like, I don't know. I do a lot of brainstorming, and just people give me ideas and just go from there.
Nice.
Hey guys in the chat.
Yeah,
I
feel
haven't
free.
been live for a long time.
Yeah, we did one on your channel originally, right? Like, wasn't that a real impromptu one?
Oh, I think almost a year ago now. I think that was the first live stream I ever did as well.
Yeah, you should. Well, if you want to, you could do it, and I'm sure people will love it. So, So I guess, if there's anything you want to bring to the table, let's get after it. Something I guess that just popped into my head was like, what do you think about the science debate right now? Because you do get into that stuff a lot, and you are, I feel that you do your diligence. You actually, I don't know, like, do you read these PubMed studies in depth when you're coming up with your slides and stuff like that? Because you have a lot of information. So like, how does this process work? Can you share that with us?
Well, yeah, when I'm researching a video, I do go through some of the PubMed stuff. Honestly, that's not my area of expertise. I'm not a scientist or anything like that. But I do my best to kind of interpret them and try to look at both sides and present it as fairly as possible. That's what I'm trying to do. I just did a video on anti-nutrients, and in it, I said that regarding phytates, there's actually some benefits to them as well. So I kind of try to do both, but I don't think the science, you can find a paper that will prove anything. So I don't think we can rely on that 100% of the time, especially with something like nutrition, where there's so many variables, where it's so hard to do a randomized control trial. I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. So are you basing most of your forward pressing momentum, I guess I would call it, like your directive? Because I know that you first started out, you were like eating avocados, let's say like a year ago or 9 months ago. You were eating like avocados. You were kind of like a keto person.
Yep.
And then sort of the carnivore word blew up. And then that became the rage, and everybody wanted to jump on board and try it and see what was up with that. And then you see like all these keto people jumping on a carnivore, and they're getting even the results they got on keto are then just multiplied. It seems like everybody does even better on carnivore. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I find that is exactly the case. A lot of people start out with keto and then kind of transition into carnivore.
Mhm.
I think it was at the start. Was it last year? No, the year before. Whenever Sean Baker went on Joe Rogan is when it started to blow up and people started to get really interested in it. And yeah, I do find people do better on carnivore versus keto. I think they're cutting out pretty much just all the junk because you can still get a lot of keto junk food. There's all those keto sweets. There's keto replacement for everything.
Yeah.
And I find that is what's holding people back. Like they hit a plateau and it's because they've just replaced all their favorite foods with keto versions of those foods and they're still fueling those bad habits. Um, I think getting rid of fiber is a reason a lot of people's digestion improves when they go keto to carnivore. Um, yeah, and just the simplicity of it. It's easy to stick to. There's no sort of variables. With keto, there's a lot of questions. Is this keto?
And here comes a
Can
real
I make
steak.
this keto?
But just look at the
With
texture of
carnivore,
this
it's
thing.
just very straightforward. It's very hard.
Hang on one second. We had a
to-
super chat blowing you out there. Thank you for. We'll ask that question in a minute. Seeking truth. So, by the way, any super chats that roll in, I'm definitely going to read them. They absolutely have priority. I'm going to probably be into this conversation with Kate, guys. I'm not going to be able to keep up with the chat. So, mods, you guys keep doing your thing over there, but I'll read the questions when they feel appropriate. So, yeah, sorry, Kate. You said you were talking about like removing fiber and things like that.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people do better on carnivore than on keto has been my experience, and myself included. I was keto and I was very hesitant to try carnivore. I was doing a version of keto that was pretty high in plants. I was like trying to eat the rainbow, eat a wide range of plants every meal. And
Mhm.
so when I heard of carnivore, I was like, that can't be right. But the more you start to look into it, the more sense it starts to make.
Yeah.
Things like fiber, we don't actually need fiber. Um, Meat doesn't actually cause cancer, doesn't cause heart disease, doesn't cause diabetes. All these things that I thought were going to be problems with the diet weren't actually problems. And
Mhm.
then when I started to try it myself, I just started to feel better and better. And I was like, wow, yeah, this is for me, I guess.
Yeah, you seem to have kicked it up another level of health and sort of glow when you did that transition. And I'm sure people have been telling you that because, yeah, you see almost like a steady, consistent, good result. And this is going to, show my bias here for, am I on the plant-based side or am I on the meat-based side? But guys, like when we're just looking at the results of the people that are doing this stuff, like they look good. They look better. They're continually getting better too. It almost doesn't end. They just keep looking younger. They keep looking healthier. Whereas we're sort of seeing the I don't know, in some people we're seeing sort of a deterioration effect almost with the plant-based side. And that only starts to happen years down the line. And we don't really see the same thing happening on the carnivore side, at least from what I've noticed. For instance, people go carnivore. There's not like some fall off period where there's like they hit 5 years and they're like, oh my God, like I needed to have broccoli. And that's the thing that brought me back. Like we just haven't been hearing that.
Yeah.
Well, we've been hearing it from the plant side. Like I've been craving eggs and I did it. And like, oh my God, I had a wet dream or like something happened that was profound that I was really hoping would come back. My, women losing their periods, like going anemic on the plant-based diet. Have never heard of that on the carnivore diet. Not yet anyway. Have you been seeing any issues on your end?
Well, I get a lot of comments. So there is the odd case of someone saying something didn't work for them. Not a lot of people, but occasionally I'll get a comment, someone saying they have like high blood pressure since they started carnivore or just like a racing heart, things like that. I think these come down to like not getting enough electrolytes, and that's something you kind of have to play with. But for every one of those comments I get probably 500, 1,000 that are people saying they're doing really, really well with this way of eating. And yeah, that's just the people who are commenting. So
go for it.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Have you seen a difference in where people's starting points are to then jumping on something like carnivore? Like, cause you're a coach, so you're working with these people. and I guess if I wanted to bring up a specific example, would be my friend Megan Elizabeth, who, you know, I was a low fat vegan for 4.5 years. But towards the last year, I did start creeping my fats up because I was eating a lot of peanut butter and soy milk and stuff like that. And so my fat was probably, let's say on a daily average, was like 20 to 30% of my calories. Still respectably low, even in the vegan terms. But I feel like I gave my system sort of like that buffer zone to then jump onto meat. It wasn't such a big transition for me. I didn't have any negative side effects except for the keto flu for like 24 hours, and I drank some kefir and I felt perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas Megan, she saw the benefits of the meat. Like it did good things for her, so much so that she was undeniably improving in her daily mood and health and stuff like that. But she was having issues digesting the food still. But she was a 10-year low fat vegan, like very low fat. Not to the point where she was probably, well, she could have been hormonally imbalanced in many ways. We just don't really know. But she had like the crazy mood swings. She had like, she was struggling to maintain her weight at a certain level, even though she was eating a very restricted amount of calories. Okay. So like I saw what she ate, no more than 2,000 calories a day. She's pretty active. She was always putting in the work, exercising and walking and stuff like that. And she was like always kind of soft, like that will be her own admission. And then of course she jumps on the meat. Within 6 months, her body transforms. But it took her a few months to get past the issues that she was having. And the issues that she was having was like gallbladder issues. Like she wasn't producing enough bile or something. Okay. Have you heard of this?
Yeah. So it takes a while to build up to how much fat you can eat. If you're coming from a very low fat diet, it's exactly that. Your body isn't producing enough bile to digest the fat. So yeah, you kind of need to build it up. That's what I've heard. And people who've had their gallbladder removed, they experience the same sort of thing. There's a point where sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. They can't have as much fat because their body can't produce enough to handle high amounts of fat. So there's a tipping point where they can handle just enough fat, but not more than that. Yeah, I think people who are coming from a low fat diet, it's going to be a lot harder to start eating a lot of fat right off the bat. You might need to transition more slowly and lower the carbs slowly and increase the fat. But people who are going keto to a carnivore diet, I find that transition's pretty seamless, more or less.
Yeah. What would somebody do if they were in the position where they didn't have a gallbladder? Because that's something I've heard of people having the gallbladder removed and they're wanting to do carnivore or whatever. Like what's their, what do they do?
They can still do it. They just can't have as much fat. It needs to be a bit higher protein, and yeah, they need to just experiment with where that tipping point is. Pretty much if they go over that, they're just going to get diarrhea. So they can kind of tweak it to find exactly where that is.
And this is another thing that I've actually been wondering about recently is the whole sort of argument. And I've been arguing with people in my comments, and I'm not an expert on this, but when it comes to actually being in ketosis, I'm under the impression that when you're a carnivore, because you're generally a carnivore is classified as quite a high protein diet. I mean, I eat 250 grams of protein a day. That's like not even trying to get that much protein, but that's what's in my meat.
Yeah.
So Dr. Darren Schmidt, I'm not sure if you're aware of him, but he says that carbs is the only thing that determines whether or not you're going to get into ketosis or not. We have other people saying, well, if you eat too high of protein, you actually won't get into ketosis. So like, where do you stand on that? Like, what have you seen? Is that something we should be shooting for? Are we actually in ketosis when we're carnivore? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, I know there's definitely some debate over this. I've seen people who say you need to have 2-to-1 ratio of fat to protein. And then I've seen other people who say, just eat as much protein as you can and just let the fat fall into place. I think it varies from person to person. Some people do a lot better with higher fat. I think most people who are eating no carbs are in ketosis because the thinking behind why too much protein is going to kick you out of ketosis is gluconeogenesis. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where your body turns excess protein into glucose.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with that is it's demand driven. So it's not going to happen unless your body needs the glucose. And
Mm-hmm.
we do need glucose. And so that's a good thing. We want that to happen as we need it. So it's not as simple as you're eating too much protein and it's just automatically going to turn to glucose.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's
What
just
would be a
based on what
demand?
your body
Like,
needs.
what would be a demand? Like brain power and like muscle mass? Like, what denotes a demand?
Yeah, brain power is one of them. Your brain does need glucose.
Mm-hmm.
um there's a few other functions in the body as well where your body requires it, but and yeah, so that's that.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate the clarification on these things because this is like, this isn't stuff that the chat's been priming me for, or stuff I've been watching and researching, and people sort of hitting me up in my comments about, you know, Drew, you made this, comment about not being in ketosis or whatever, but Darren Schmidt says that the only thing that matters is absence of carbohydrate, and he makes a good point. He says, well, because what I said the other day was you need to actually typically eat more fat than you would even want then to drive the ketones. Because I've heard that people in ketosis, they're not actually deep in ketosis until they really get their fat levels up. And it almost like artificially stimulates the ketone making process. So then they see the ketones in their blood or in their pee, and they're like, yeah, this is the way I'm going to get into ketosis. I have to actually eat much higher fat. But I don't want to eat higher fat. There's no way I'm going to add MCT oil and all this stuff to what I'm currently eating. That would just be not a functional way of eating for me. So
Yeah.
whether I'm in ketosis or whether I'm not, I don't really care. I eat like 100 grams of carbs a day. Would you say that that's like reasonable for somebody who's working out a few times a week? Am I in ketosis, or should I test it? Like, is it something to be concerned about?
I don't think the number matters. I think some people just get into ketosis easier than other people do.
Yeah.
It's and when you're testing, it's even testing your blood, that's the ketones that your body isn't using. So if it's creating them and using them right away, if you have like a high energy needs, then you're going to get lower readings. Whereas, if you're a lot of people who are losing weight, they're very overweight, they're sedentary, they'll find when they first get into ketosis, their numbers are like through the roof, and they think it's a good thing, but it just means the ketones are kind of sitting there and not really being used. So I don't think testing is necessary. I do it very occasionally, and honestly, my ketones have always been low, even when I've experimented with eating way higher fat and less protein. That's just me personally. And it's, back to your other point. This is something really interesting about our bodies creating glucose. When we exercise, our blood glucose will go up as well, depending on the intensity. So I've done experiments where I've worn a continuous glucose monitor before, and I went on a run, and my blood glucose goes up. And when your blood glucose goes up, your ketones are going to go down. But I didn't eat anything. I was fasted, but my body was just creating that glucose to kind of fuel my exercise, which I thought was really, really interesting. And then someone might do that, test their ketones, they're really low, and they might think that they're doing something wrong, but really it's just the body doing what it needs to do.
Is that the fat burning process at that point? Like the triglycerides, it gets very sciencey, like triglycerides being released into the bloodstream. Is that what you're talking about when you're exercising and your blood sugars goes up? Is there a denotation with the blood glucose monitor, like what it is?
It's, it's the level of sugar in your blood. So the glucose in your blood is what you're testing.
You made the point about the ketones being utilized, and so therefore if they're sitting around, then of course the numbers are going to be higher. But if the number's low, it doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't make them and that you're not absorbing them and utilizing them. So it's kind of like the same principle that Sean Baker talks about with his testosterone, his free testosterone in his blood. Have you heard about his situation with that? He has a low testosterone score.
Briefly, but I haven't looked into it too much.
It's kind of the same argument, and the vegans are crucifying him over, saying, hey, your T is low. But it's like, it's really funny because, again, going back to the results, you're looking at this guy. He's 6'5". He weighs 245 pounds. He's deadlifting over 500 pounds at 50 plus years old. He's setting world records on this damn rowing machine. And then the vegans are like, your testosterone's low. It's like, you're focusing on the wrong thing, guys.
Yeah. So
he says, guys, it has been observed in elite athletes that, number one, blood sugar may be higher. I think that's what you're talking about with the blood sugar being raised in elite level athletes because they're mobilizing more fat stores. And then also the free testosterone in his blood being lower because his receptors are utilizing more of the free-floating testosterone. You science people in the chat, I see Bart K in there. You can let me know if what I said made any sense, but that's what I feel like is Drew drunk. No, I'm not drunk. I'm a little tired though. Hopefully it makes sense today. But yeah, that's how I understand it. So
yeah, I don't think people need to measure ketones. I don't think it really matters if you're feeling good. If you wake up in the morning, you're not hungry. If you can fast for a couple hours after you wake up, then you're probably in ketosis. If you wake up and you're starving, you're probably not. And it's a spectrum as well. Like you can be deeper into ketosis and whatnot. If you're eating 100 carbs a day and doing a lot of exercise, you're probably in ketosis a lot of the time as well. 100 carbs isn't that much in the grand scheme of things.
That's what I think too. And I don't know if it matters, but about 40% of them come from milk anyways. So that's an animal food to begin with. So I don't know if there's some sort of relationship there. But you said the F word, fasting. What's your current take on all of that? Let's talk OMAD. Let's talk intermittent fasting. Is it beneficial? Who should do it? Who should not do it? If we're eating 5 meals of eggs a day, are we going to die? Like, what is the situation there?
I think it depends from person to person. There's definitely benefits in terms of healing and weight loss, obviously. If you have more weight to lose, you can fast longer. It's going to be easier for you. If you have less weight to lose, then it might be a bit harder. I don't think we need to stick to a strict schedule, like people who do 16-8 every single day, like clockwork. If that works for you, then that's great, but I don't think it needs to be like that. Personally, I just go by how I feel. If I wake up and I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. If I wake up and I am hungry, I might eat. And I base it around my schedule as well. Like if I have something to do in the morning, I'll just be like, okay, I won't eat till I get home later. And I kind of play it that way. Some people have a really hard time when they first start out trying to fast. They think it's something they need to do for keto and for carnivore. It's not necessary. I know there's people who do carnivore and they eat just smaller meals throughout the day, and that works for them. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. As long as you're doing some type of fasting, like you're not eating right before bed every night and not waking up and eating right away, then you're giving your body that break. That's going to be good for your digestion and things like that. So I don't know. This is my whole thing. Just people should try different things and see what works for them. If fasting doesn't work for you, or it doesn't work for you right now, then there's no reason to force it. That's going to cause more stress for your body and do more harm than more good. That's my take on it.
You mentioned weight loss, and this is something that I see as a constant topic in the keto carnivore communities, and even veganism as well. People get onto these diets because they want to maintain and control their weight. They want to lose weight. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I've seen other people that are like the quote unquote hard gainers. We struggle to keep on weight, and I struggled really terribly to put on weight as a vegan doing a whole foods plant-based diet. There's no way that I could put on weight as a vegan eating a whole foods plant-based diet. Impossible. And I'll be full disclosure here. it's even hard for me to gain weight now as a carnivore, doing 3 meals a day. I'm not fasting anymore. I'm eating about 3,000 calories average. I don't have a whole lot of activity, yet my weight, it just doesn't move. It's so slow. And I've gained weight before working out and doing, meal replacements and protein powders and all the typical bodybuilder stuff, eating 5 times a day. Yeah, that stuff works for me. Anybody who thinks they're a hard gainer, go eat trash foods like that and you are going to put on both muscle and fat. But now it's like, I'm eating to satiety. I'm working out every other day consistently. My strength and my performance seems to keep creeping up, but the weight is just the same. And people want me to, they're like, drink raw milk. I'm already drinking 4 cups of milk a day. The raw milk is not going to make a difference, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Like, I see all these people talking about weight loss. What about the people who want to gain weight? What do we do, Kait?
Dairy, that's the main thing. People have obviously said raw milk, but cream as well. These things are really, really easy to overconsume. I don't know if you eat cheese or anything like that.
I do.
Yeah, probably less fasting for someone like you. You don't really want to do 1 meal a day because you're not going to eat enough to put on weight. So maybe 2 or 3 meals. Adding in dairy, that seems to be what helps people put on weight. And yeah, even some carbs. If you're exercising enough, timing them before your workouts and things like that, you'll still be in ketosis. You'll still be getting the benefits of eating a mainly low carb diet, but you might be able to sneak in a few extra calories.
Gotcha. This sounds like a good time to segue to some of these super chats. Thank you guys for the support. Seeking Truth in Christ. By the way, Redheaded Princess, great show. Got to run now. We'll watch replay. Okay, have a good day. And Seeking Truth says, thoughts on plant antioxidants like polyphenols. That is something I don't know shit about. But everybody knows about antioxidants. Everybody thinks that they're necessary. Eat your berries, whatever. Are these things critical? And I know that I've recently watched a Sean Baker thing where he talks about like you not needing so much of these antioxidants if you're not eating the poison stuff to begin with. And this goes with a lot of the vitamins and minerals, the absorption of some of these things. Like there's certain things that are just offset by other, calcium and oxalates, for instance. Like you don't want these things at the same time. So what's your take on that? The polyphenols, do we need them?
I think it's more or less just buzzwords. It's just like Sean Baker said, we aren't consuming as many toxic foods, as many of these processed junk foods. We don't need as many antioxidants and things like that. So yeah, I just think they're just buzzwords. And honestly, that's it.
I kind of feel the same. I mean, I know, and you probably don't watch a lot. You probably never watch a lot of vegan YouTube, but somebody like Durian Ryder, who's like carb obsessed, carb up, high carb, vegan athlete, hardcore for life. If I told him, hey, berries look pretty good to me after dinner, and I eat a couple of them after dinner for, flavor or whatever purpose, just because I feel like eating them, he would say it's because your body's starving for carbohydrates. You're craving carbs and you should just be gorging on them. From that perspective, what do you think is our drive for berries and a little bit of fruit or candy or whatever? People do like these things. They like cakes. They like, is it a micro gut flora addiction we have? Is it social conditioning? Why do we want carbs?
It's just quick energy. Like in nature, we would see fruit, and that's just an easy way to get calories in to boost our energy really quickly. So it's good in that situation. But when we are exposed to it all day long in copious amounts and just way beyond anything we would be able to find in nature, we're
Uh-oh. I've lost Kait. Can you guys still see me? We'll give Kait a second. Maybe her phone crashed. We had this issue with our boy Robless. I think Zoom freaks out the phones. I think it crashes everything. I think they overheat. We'll catch up with the chat, though, while we get Kait back on the horn. Yeah, it was not my end. That's good. Okay. Get your questions in now, guys, while I have a chance to read the chat. I see Bart in there just doing work. Bart, straighten these kids out. N equals lots. Yeah. Bart knows what's up, guys. I'm still here. Good. Yeah, nature's crack, man. Fruit is good. It's undeniably good. I think it tastes good. It smells good. It is appealing. And as Robles said, fruit wants you to eat it. Well, I didn't realize that my camera was like so off-centered for these poor YouTube people that are interviewing with me. There we go. You guys have the good camera. They have the shitty camera. Let's see. Kait, opening back up. Okay, cool. She's coming back. Technical difficulties. No worries. Oh, I had something so good to ask her. I forgot it, though. Damn it. I think we have her back. Kait.
Oh, hello.
We gotcha. Let me pop you back on here.
Okay.
There we go.
I think my Zoom crashed.
Are you on your phone or are you on a computer?
Computer.
Did the whole program just shut down?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
I can't help you there. Maybe it's overheating. That's my only guess. I don't know if it's warm or what the situation is, but...
No. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Someone's relegating carbs to drug reference. They said, "Do you know what else is appealing? Drugs." Yeah, they are appealing. Not to me anymore, thank God. So where were we? We're talking fruit. We're talking carb addiction.
Yeah. I just think it's quick energy, and that's why we're hardwired to crave it, to want it. But in our modern world, it's just not necessary, and we're just getting too much, and that's
makes sense
what I
to
think
me.
about fruit.
Yeah, it's again, this is another weird thing that I've caught a lot of flack for in my previous vegan diet. You know, people said, "Drew, you did it wrong." We hear this a lot. But the way that they say I did it wrong was I ate too much fruit. That's one of the biggest criticisms of my old diet. Can you believe that? It's like, that's the natural food. What if that's wrong? Then what the hell are you eating that's right? Because you can't tell me it's Gardein chicken sliders and fake chicken nuggets that are made from wheat products, processed wheat products that are the magic. You know, that can't be, right?
And if you were doing it wrong, surely you would be able to fix it on a vegan diet and not have to turn back to animal foods if it was the optimal diet.
The other ironic part about all of it is I did fix it on the vegan diet. I went from whole foods plant-based. I did 30 days juicing, which I catch a lot of criticism for. I did heal my digestion doing 30 days of juice. I came back to eating whole food plant-based. I had great digestion for like 9 months. Started eating a little more peanut butter. Started eating a little more soy products. Boom. Digestion destroyed, and it wasn't coming back. So... And people will say, well, why didn't you just keep eating the whole food plant-based when you had the good digestion? Because I couldn't gain weight. I was 136 pounds, 135 pounds. As a 5'10" male, like I was essentially anorexic looking. Like I looked emaciated. You know, I couldn't put on any strength. I felt reasonably energetic, but when you have no power like that, it's not good. You don't feel good in your body. And I was trying to gain weight too. It's not like I was not eating a lot. I was eating till max satiety every single meal. I was working out. Still couldn't move the scale or gain any power. So, yeah. If fruit's wrong, then I don't know what to tell you guys. Like to me, I vibe with a fruitarian more than I vibe with a processed food vegan. To be straight up with you guys, like I've said this multiple times now. I think not the juice fasting people, but the juicing people, the guys like Dan McDonald, they look better than your average vegan. In my opinion, they're actually getting some of those nutrients from the the fruits and the vegetables because they're freaking processing it through a juicer. I don't know if you have any input on that.
Not too much on juice fasting. I never fully went down the vegan route, so
You're lucky you dodged those years. Those years of pain. Your teeth are going to remain gleaming.
I used to watch Durian Rider though a couple years ago because I live in Adelaide and he's in Adelaide as well. So followed him on Strava. Was like, wow, this guy's amazing. There's a couple other vegan guys who are on Strava in Adelaide, but at some point I was like, okay, this is crazy and not working.
I don't want to forget this topic and I want to move into it afterwards. So guys in the chat, don't let us forget. I want to talk about the factory farm meat and then, versus the grass-fed and stuff with Kait, because I want to see how bad of a person she thinks I am for eating exclusively factory farmed. But the other thing I want to talk about was, I just forgot it while I gave that long intro. Sugar, bodybuilding. Nope, can't remember. Durian Rider. No, forget Durian Rider. People say he's taking over the stream, so we're not going to talk about Durian Rider today. But we can get into the factory farm meat. So I've said it a lot here that I eat pretty much exclusively factory farm meat. Like, if you had to put a percentage on it, how much better is the grain as the grass-fed stuff? Like, what are we talking here?
I don't think it's that much better. Yeah, that's. I've said this before on my channel. Just any meat is better than no meat. Really, the only things that grass-fed is going to be a bit more nutritious. You're going to have a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. It's obviously better for the planet, better for the animals. But in terms of nutrition, I don't think it's too much different.
I remember the topic. It was going to ask you how much vegan flack are you catching lately? Because I feel like all of us are sort of battling some of that to some extent. I don't know how bad it is on your end, but
honestly, it's not very bad on my end.
Really?
I will
just
get the
have your
odd
own
comment here and there, but other than that, no, I don't get very much.
You don't get much enjoy your heart disease comments, nothing like that, huh?
Not very many. Sometimes they come in waves. I think a vegan will like share one of my posts on Twitter or something like that, and I'll get a bunch of hate, but honestly, in general, I don't get too much.
Beautiful.
Which is, yeah.
Okay, so back to this factory farm situation, because everybody's like, grass-fed for the win. Okay, grass-fed, just store prices here. Hear me out, guys. Store prices for ribeye, $18 a pound. I can buy ribeye at $6 a pound, factory farmed. If I were to cook you both steaks and put them side by side, you would maybe be able to tell the difference in terms of the way they look, in terms of the way they taste, because my steaks are good. I'm enjoying what I'm eating. Now, am I going to come out here and tell you that the $18 factory or the grass-fed ribeye doesn't taste a little better? Yeah, it does. It's a little better. To me, it does taste a little better. But in terms of the way I feel, there's maybe a little bit that I notice. Like sometimes I get sort of, I've talked about it, it's like this sort of brain massage that you get from maybe all the fats just coating your organs. So, something in the meat. There is some magic in there, guys. I'm going to keep it real. There's a little magic in the grass-fed stuff. And I get this sometimes from the ground beef grass-fed stuff. So, but still, like on an ongoing basis, if we're talking about 3 times the price on average for the same meat, and it's in factory farm, yeah, like we can get into the ethics situation, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're putting down the cow and we're eating it, So to me, if you're on a budget, and most people are, eating an $18 steak twice a day is kind of out of the budget. Who's out there cooking their own meals, spending $40 to $50 a day on steak just for 2 meals? Is that even practical? Like, what do you coach your people on? What do they say?
Do what's in your budget. That's what I promote. There's one lady called Diana Rogers. Have you heard of her before?
Somebody pointed me to her recently. I've got to check her out.
Yeah, she's a registered dietitian. Oh,
okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
It's the Australia delay, guys. Okay. No, there's the local cow farm that I spoke with last weekend. I wanted to do a partnership with them. They have like the craziest high-end beef money can possibly buy. And the lady who's the part owner or girlfriend of the farmer, the rancher that works there, she told me about Diana Rogers, like Sacred Cow or something like that, or
Yeah,
Sacred.
so she's a registered dietitian, and she's all for promoting like regenerative agriculture and stuff
Okay.
like that. But she does a lot of posts where she says that the difference nutrition wise, conventional versus grass fed is not that big a difference. And she's like a big pusher of regenerative agriculture.
Okay. And it's the regenerative stuff seems to be the buzzword in the actual farming industry right now. That's definitely the thing. It seems to be the best for the environment. They're producing the healthiest, happiest cows. And yeah, I mean, I think we've got this figured out, right? Like the grass-fed movement's getting better with their technology on how to grow more meat and do it faster and better. And I think that the education of that stuff is just going to keep spreading. There's even big channels on YouTube now that are showing the regenerative farming process. I think Greg Judy is one of them. I'm a subscriber to that channel. He just talks about like how easy it is to basically pick up a pasture. You do have to do a little bit of maintenance to get it going. He tells people how to basically invest their money into regenerative agriculture, grow their own cows, and do it as a living. Like he says that you can make a living doing this, and he shows you exactly how to do it. And he's like, there's unlimited space to do this. You can rent land from the government that is not even, it's land that can't be used for anything else. You can't build businesses on it. You can't build houses on it. It's just there. And cows are extremely resilient. That's the other thing that the vegans don't understand is these things can use land that we can't even build crops on. So it's a weird argument that the environmental impact, I don't know if you get too much into the environment stuff, but that's something that I rarely touch on because I just think it's kind of a weird argument. Like the world is huge. We don't have all the facts. Like I'm sure the landscape in Australia is much different than the landscape here in Southern California as far as what's going to be available to us locally. Yep. How can we rely on studies for that? There's no way that information is going to be accurate.
I know. I think most of us just don't know enough about it. And people think that they do. They throw out these stats. We could take the whole world out of poverty if we were just all eating more grains and things like that. And I don't know enough about it. These people don't know enough about it unless you're actually in the industry and know what you're talking about. But I think there's just a bunch of people trying to twist these numbers. And the whole film Cowspiracy was actually based on a paper which was retracted because they twisted the numbers. So, yeah.
Did you watch Game Changers by any chance? Or have you caught any of the recent?
I haven't watched Game Changers. No, couldn't do it. Have you watched it?
No. And here's the thing with all of it. Like, people want me to keep revisiting the vegan thing. Like, keep revisiting it, Drew. Like, you just, like, one more piece of information. Like, I'm going to say the magic words to you, and you're going to want to do it again. And I just tell these people, like, guys, I lived this for real for 4.5 years. There's no study. There's nothing that these people can tell me and convince me. Like, I'm the vegan elder now. Like, I already went through it, you know? Like, when you see these people getting excited about going vegan. I had this guy the other day, one of my personal friends. He's like, Drew, what made you stop going vegan, man? And I was like, I didn't feel good. Like, there's a host of things. Like, I don't even want to get into it. Like, you can go watch my YouTube channel if you want to learn
full history.
Yeah. If you want to learn all the stuff, trust me, you can go to my YouTube channel. Let's just be homies and let's do normal stuff right now. And so he's like, yeah, well, I just watched this movie the other day. And I was like, Game Changers? He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, man. And I told him, like, yeah, actually, one of the things they talk about in the movie, I had like some of the erectile problems as a vegan. He's like, what? He's like, dude, they say that you get like 300% more blood flow down there. Like, how can that be? And I'm just like, no, they've gotten to this guy. Like, this guy is a normal guy. He's an omnivore. Even he's now believing that this stuff, like, he's not going to go vegan. But the mainstream media is so powerful. Like if they create something that is fun to watch, it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, you know, they just put together this irresistible package for these people to just buy in. And you have people that aren't even vegan promoting the diet now, and it's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, it's on the front page of Netflix. The average person is exposed to it, and yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
I wonder how this is possible, because you're the one who posted this recently. You said the Google Trends for keto or carnivore is more than veganism or vegan now. It's like 2 times as much. So what do we know about that? That we know there's a lot more people interested in going keto than there are vegan, but the vegan group would have you believe that it's like spreading everywhere. Everybody's going vegan. The world is vegan in 10 years. Meat's illegal. It is really, really good marketing. Vegans are the best marketers on the planet, I think.
Yeah.
To get people to do that.
Loud.
Yeah, they're very loud.
That's the thing. But then you get into the real world, and how many people are vegan? You start talking to normal people, and it's this very, very small minority. I think we're kind of in this bubble online. Everyone is either carnivore or vegan, more or less, that I see online. But then, it's just not like that. I don't think there's this huge wave of people actually going vegan. The problem is people watch these things and it just plants a seed. So if there's the option between getting a Beyond Meat burger and a regular burger, where they've heard that the Beyond Meat one is going to be better for them, it's going to be better for the planet, it tastes the same, allegedly, then they might opt for that one. So I think that's the problem. And it's very misleading. I know even at my local grocery store, they have the fake meat section like mixed in with the regular meat section. And it's really hard to tell. And I'm there and I'm like, what are these chicken nuggets? And then in small print, it's like chicken free chicken nuggets or something. And I'm
here's what was really funny. So in Hawaii, we had I was there through the volcano last year. I was there through like really crazy thunderstorms where it was raining. I mean, it flooded the entire downtown area. But during these times, people go to the store and they kind of stock up a little bit more. It's a smart thing to do. It's kind of like a little mini prepper situation. Now, the fake meat was untouched. The shelves were looking a little bit bare. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't buy anything in the store. Like the shelves were empty. It wasn't that bad. So in Oahu, it was actually that bad. There was some reports that the stores were completely ransacked. Like everything gone. The beans on the shelves are gone. Everything. But in my local store, it was like, we live in a pretty small town with a huge store. So we had plenty of food, but the shelves were looking bare. Like you could tell that people were stocking up a little more than usual. And the fake meat, perfectly still there on the shelf, perfectly lined up. Nobody touched the stuff. And it doesn't matter. Like I see it on sale sometimes. And that's the other thing. It is actually really expensive too. The Beyond Meat burgers are, I mean, they're over $2, maybe $3 a patty, which compared to the standard meat is like $1 a patty, you know? Yeah. So I don't know why the vegans are always saying it's a cheaper diet. It's a more economical diet. I haven't seen that. I didn't experience it when I was vegan. I spent more than 2 times the amount that I spend now, for sure, on food. It's so much easier to find the food that I eat now. It's so much easier to cook the food. The cleanup is easier. I mean, is there any benefit that you see it to like the vegan movement and this is like not, we're not here talking about a bashing situation, guys. Like I really do genuinely want to find, number one of the purposes of my channel is to speak to vegans who are successful long-term. I want to see what they're doing. I want to understand what they're doing. I want to see if there is something that maybe I missed along the way, if there's something that other people are missing. I don't want to see people suffering in the vegan diet. If they have it stuck in their head that they absolutely are going to stick to this thing, then I would rather see them be healthy than sick, you know? So that's kind of my take on it. And do you feel like there's any retribution, any benefit to the vegan diet? Like, is it helping people in some way? Is there some good thing about it?
If you're switching from a standard American diet, high in processed food, and you actually do a whole foods plant-based diet, I think that's a step in the right direction. At least you are taking note of, I guess, just where your food's coming from, what's going into it, how processed it is. And you will feel better if you're eating all whole foods versus eating the standard American diet, fast food, stuff like that. But if you're just switching to a vegan diet that's still highly processed with these Beyond Meat burgers, you might as well just still be eating the same thing as before. Yeah.
I agree with that. And I actually did eat a Beyond Meat burger for the first time the last year I was vegan or so. I came to California. There's like I was still living in Hawaii. I came to visit California. There's all these amazing, fast food vegan places to eat here. And so, well, amazing in my mind at the time. And they're all like $18. Like you spend $18 for like a burger and fries. And it's just so stupid now. But anyway, so for a processed burger that's off the shelf, Beyond Meat, everybody sells the Beyond Meat burger. It's not like they have their own house brand burger. They all have killed their own version of it, and they just buy the Beyond Meat burger. Everybody's Beyond Meat, Beyond Meat, Beyond Meat. So it all tastes the same then. And now you get a Beyond Meat burger. I actually tried it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. I had it a couple times. But even in my mind, as a vegan, I knew that burger tasted like a fast food burger. It wasn't like, wow, this is one of the best burgers that I've ever had. It's so juicy, just like I remember. I mean, it was like standard. I'm talking to myself because Kait, that's frozen. We'll wait for Kait to come back. Apparently her computer doesn't like Zoom. So anyway, that was fun. It was frozen and she's like, the inquisitive face. Wow, I was just popping off right there. We have a burger joint who sells a Beyond Meat burger with real bacon, so all about reducitarians. That's reasonable. I mean, the wheat and soy, whatever combo they use to create that thing, probably not that healthy. I'd rather just eat the beef. We got the nutrition watchdog, Bart K, in the chat. Really organic. I hope you guys are getting along. That's a joke, by the way. Oh, here we go. We got Kait back.
Oh, keeps crashing.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna pull you back on. Okay, we got Kait back. I was going off on a tangent right there about how I had the Beyond Meat burgers, and even in my mind, I knew that they basically tasted like fast food burgers, even as a vegan. Yeah. I wasn't fooled in my mind in any way that this was the best burger that I've ever had. So, yeah. I think that anybody who's I don't know if you've ever seen these like articles that pop up. They're like, Beyond Meat Burger won a burger festival in New York City as the best tasting burger, and nobody even knew that it was. Give me a break. Like people know. I can taste the difference between 80% and 85% ground beef. You're telling me you're going to slip in a plant-based burger and I'm not going to be able to tell? You're tripping. So
I've tried it as well. It doesn't taste bad, but yeah,
no, it doesn't taste bad.
Tastes like meat. You can definitely tell the difference.
It always has a bit of sponge.
The other thing with it is, like, they have the Beyond Meat burgers in all the stores in Australia. They have to come all the way from the US, and they're processed who knows where else. It's imported ingredients into the US. It's just, if you care about the environment, that's not the answer. That's not a better solution than eating meat. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of contradictions going on in the whole, and I mean, again, we're not here to bash the vegans, and I have another topic that I want to talk about, which I'll have to maybe do in a video format because it relates to Vegan Gains, and it just happens to be that you are here and you know him from back in the day from Canada, and you don't live near him anymore or anything like that, but I just wanted to make this comment just for my chat. Like, something I thought about the other day, Vegan Gains rides a motorcycle, but he likes to criticize other people for eating an unhealthy diet. But I mean, he's probably 10 times more likely to crash and get injured or die on his motorcycle than anybody else is eating a unhealthy diet. So that to me is kind of a counterpoint to his whole thing. It's like he can tell somebody enjoy your heart disease, but it's like, bro, you ride a motorcycle. That's so much more dangerous than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, in my opinion. And I'm sure the facts will actually back that up. But anyway, I was trying to do some research on this the other day. I got bored of it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'll just mention it. I'll quickly mention it in a live stream.
That sounds like original content. So
yeah, I may have to do that. People are like, it's an electric bike. It doesn't matter. He rides it on the street. He rides it in the snow too. Like even more crazy. Jack Jackson says, not seeing the motorcycle point from Drew. How are you not seeing that? He's telling people, what you're eating is dangerous. And he's basically telling people they're stupid for it, but he's riding a motorcycle, which is his choice. And I'm all for riding motorcycles. I love motorcycles. I have my motorcycle license. I've owned them. And it's just, hey, let them live their life. You're obviously living your life. That's my point. So before you're like, I don't see the point, Drew. Anyway. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Kait, by the way? Go ahead and throw them up and we will keep it flowing here. I'm just sipping coffee. Kait, what's your take on coffee? Caffeine.
I have a coffee here. I've been letting it get cold.
Why would you do that?
I know. I do get a few comments occasionally saying the only reason carnivore works is because I drink coffee.
I've heard that too.
I have maybe one every other day. I don't even drink coffee every day. My take on it, there are benefits, obviously, in terms of energy, things like that. There are downsides. I think I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, regarding the coffee, I've heard that's comments been directed towards me as well at times. And it's funny because when I stop drinking caffeine, I actually do feel best when I don't drink caffeine. It's not an energy thing for me at all. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the mental stimulation properties of coffee. It's funny to me. It's like people saying they like drinking beer, but they don't do it for the buzz. Like, yeah, you do. I drink coffee. I enjoy the buzz. I enjoy the caffeine. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of being able to like get up and function, like how some people are, where they can't even do anything in their day without drinking coffee first, that is not me. If I don't drink coffee, I may have a day or two of headaches from the actual withdrawals of it. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. But once I get past that point, there's no energy shortage. I actually feel very stable and smooth throughout the day. So I'm doing it for flavor, nostalgia, the activity. I like getting together with people drinking coffee. I've been drinking it since I was a kid, literally. So like to me, this is just something that I do. And I don't do drugs. I don't even drink anymore. I mean, damn, let me drink coffee, Shit.
Yeah. No, I think some people get up in arms. But yeah, it's just silly.
Someone made a comment. Motorcycle is 1 in 1,020 for death. You guys should go read the Ontario, Canada report on motor vehicle incidents. Even though motorcycles only make up 2% of the actual vehicles on the road, they account for 10% of the injuries. And you are 6 times more likely to die in a motorcycle accident than you are in a car accident. Fun facts. So don't tell me I didn't do any research on that. Go ahead and read about it and get back to me. All right.
Ontario specifically, you've really...
Specifically Ontario. And I was going to compare it to the Ontario heart disease rate because that's what he likes to talk crap about. So I was actually going to see how much more dangerous motorcycle riding is than heart disease. And I would bet they're at least equal to each other. So I'm just saying. People are like, you went down the motorcycle rabbit hole. I did. People are saying they drink coffee every day, can go without it, but prefer it. That's kind of how I feel. And wait, hold on. My internet is dying right now. I got to wait for it to come back to life. There we go. It seems like it's back. Sorry if that froze, guys. Yeah. Energy drinks, I'm with people. They're not good. And they do mess my digestion up. And I've been staying away from those. Whatever. But in terms of just regular coffee, I mean, it's been drank for how many thousands of years? Every culture has it. It's enjoyable. And yeah, I feel like, and here's the thing too. At the end of my vegan journey, I was drinking all kinds of energy drinks and caffeine. I was doing it as much or more than I am now. So that argument is out the window, in my opinion. I was drinking tons of caffeine as a vegan towards the end because I was feeling very sluggish with the higher fat, high carb, no good. It's straight fat man style. Drew, did you notice your teeth hurt near the gum line as a vegan? Every time I go back to plant-based, I feel my teeth start to get sensitive again. Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing actually how much damage was done specifically near the gum line. That's where a lot of enamel erosion occurred for me. And my molars also took quite a beating from eating certain vegan cereals in the morning. And they're so hard, and they were like, even though I soak them in milk, everything in the vegan diet is so dense, and it's like eating little grains of rocks. Like it really just digs into your teeth. And they're already weak from all the sugars and acids that you're consuming on a regular basis. So, what does Kait have to say about fish's role in a diet? Great question.
I don't think it's necessary, but I do think it is beneficial, especially things like salmon, mackerel that are high in omega-3s. I think that's very beneficial, especially for certain people. This is a little bit off topic, recently got a DNA test, and it tells you a lot about how you can convert certain nutrients. So I am 26% worse at converting ALA to EPA, which for someone else that they might be better at converting it. So what that means is that I just need to get EPA and DHA in through my diet and not rely on just ALA. ALA is the plant version, and EPA and DHA are what are in fish. So I think it can benefit some people more than others. But yeah, I do think fish is definitely good to include.
What is with... Well, I want to add it onto the fish thing, actually. When I first went to eating meat again from vegan, I was all over the fish. I was eating like salmon every day, pretty much. I mean, I was eating a pound of salmon back like nonstop. And I just really lost the taste for it. And it's not that I wouldn't eat it, but there's something in me that just turned off. And I've heard that from other people too, that they just don't have a taste for it anymore. And same with chicken as well. I still eat chicken once a week, once every other week. But I'm just like, I'm going down the beef hole right now. Like I'm just red meat now. I'm just buying steaks. That's what I'm eating. What's the deal with that?
Well, I haven't heard too many people say that about fish. I know with chicken, that's pretty common. A lot of people prefer beef over chicken. I think mainly because beef's fattier, beef's more nutritious. In that situation, it could come down to getting more omega-3s from the beef than from the chicken. I don't know about the fish, though. I haven't heard anyone be turned off that. But it could just be based on, I guess, what your body needs and at that time. And yeah, I don't know.
I've been hearing some murmurs, and it's funny because Really Organic, one of my moderators, just talked about how she wouldn't touch fish.
Feet?
Yeah, feet. Wouldn't touch feet. She said, I just released a video about how bad fish is for us. I wouldn't touch it if you paid me. Have you been hearing this anti-fish situation in the meat movement recently? There's been a bit of anti-DHA commentary recently.
Really?
In the meat, and specifically in like, these aren't vegans saying this. This is like the meat people saying cold water fish is bad for you. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't heard this.
It's out there, and I wish I had a little more research on this. Maybe somebody can chime in, but DHA specifically, they're saying like DHA supplements, absolutely not. They're saying even omega-3 is potentially something that you don't want to shoot for.
Not beneficial.
Harmful, specifically harmful. They're saying cold water fish is no good, which I think is really interesting. Like that seems like a fish that we would, in our ancestry, in our nature, be able to access regularly. I mean, streams and stuff like that, you could make a little... It's so easy to get the fish in there. Like that's the easiest place to get it. We didn't have boats before,
no,
so
I haven't heard any of this. This is new to me. I try to get at least one good source of omega-3s in every day, either from fish or from cod liver oil or whatnot. And yeah, no, I haven't heard this. I'll have to look into that.
We'll have to catch back up on that topic offline because it's something that's popping up, and I'm sure at some point you're going to come across it. And people are the high mercury and high cadmium. He always sees high mercury and high cadmium in his patients that eat fish, and hair tests don't show the mercury in fillings, so it's fish for sure. Well, but is that necessarily bad? Like, it's one of those things. Like, our cholesterol is going to probably go up on a carnivore diet, and we'll get into that probably too. Because people are cholesterol phobic, and Bart K's in the chat, and I know he's probably gonna have a meltdown, but I already know what he says about it. But like my mom, for instance, her cholesterol's been creeping up over the years, and she doesn't necessarily eat a high animal food diet. She's been trying to limit it. She eats white meat, which is funny because chicken has a lot of cholesterol, but she's limiting her red meat, and this is what a lot of people do. Yet their cholesterol creeps up to a moderate level in terms of the mainstream ranges. So, they'll have a high number according to the mainstream range. And then the doctors freak out. They want to give you statins. So have you been seeing people's cholesterol levels rise as a result of the carnivore diet, and then them having to tell their doctors like, hey, don't worry about it, buddy. I know what I'm doing here type of thing? Because, I mean, people's cholesterol numbers do go up, right?
Yeah. I think it varies from person to person. Some people say their cholesterol improves and others, certain numbers go up. I can't tell anyone what to say to their doctors, but I can provide them other resources. And the science is shaky, saying that eating cholesterol causes heart disease. Eating cholesterol clogs your arteries. There's no solid evidence there.
Yeah.
Some people's go up, but some people's not. So it's really individual. And I think Dave Feldman is just the best resource on that. I always refer people to his channel whenever they're asking about cholesterol because he just has everything there.
That's good. Yeah, he should be coming on the show next week, so we'll talk to him a little bit more. I'm trying to diversify a little bit and get a little bit more into the geeky topics of the health stuff, because at some point I'm gonna have to know this stuff. As somebody who's sitting here every day doing this stuff, like I'm researching. It's I want to balance. You can't do all vegan drama stuff. At some point, I'm gonna have to learn the nutritional info too, and just become a resource of my own, because there's a lot of people tuning in. They want to know the stuff. They want to know specifics about why you eat a certain way. And I'm all for anecdotes. I think it's great. Like, I look at you, I think you're really healthy looking. I think my results are good, but is it absolutely perfect? I don't know. Like, what things are you finding that are still little things you're fine tuning? Like, what's something to you that, or are you experiencing optimal, pure, perfect health that you're just like, you're done? You've seen it.
Yeah. The one thing I have been sort of experimenting with is carbing up before exercise. So I actually play hockey, and that's obviously a very high intensity sport. And I find that if I have some berries before and kind of during that, I do get more energy and I feel better throughout versus eating no carbs before. That's one thing I've been sort of experimenting with. Beyond that, I don't really have anything to complain about. Like, I'm feeling really good. My energy is really good on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. Personally, yep.
Hockey, obviously, you have to put in a lot of aerobic effort as well as, anaerobic. So those are the sports. It's kind of like an endurance sport basically at that point, with a lot more explosivity obviously involved. But yeah, in those sports, I feel like you do kind of need carbohydrate. And I know that's something that is being talked about currently. Like our buddy Bart K, he says that you could be an elite athlete. You could do any sport simply on carnivore. Yeah. He's working with people that are doing that. I don't personally know of anybody off the top of my head that's doing it right now. The athletes that I've spoken with, guys like Tim Sheaf, stuff like that, in my own personal experience, like I do notice a bit more fullness to the muscles when you eat some carbohydrate. There is a perceived explosivity factor that is maybe slightly higher and maybe a slight bit more energy throughout the workout. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's kind of like my experience with it.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well. But then other times I won't have any carbs before and I'll feel really good and I'll play a really good game. So yeah, I'm just trying to tweak it. And then also, there was one time I had sushi before and I just felt so full and just heavy. And
what kind of sushi though?
Because very good.
Sushi, the range is like raw fish and freaking rolls with mayonnaise on it, you know, like what are we talking
mayonnaise, but like rolls with rice and fish. So yeah.
So the kind of the bloaty type of sushi yeah. I know about it. I know about it. If I were to eat like raw fish and rice, I would imagine that would be a very clean eating meal.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've gone to these like Korean barbecue places recently. I don't know if you've been to one of these. Awesome place to get your meat in. It's one of the only places that you can go actually get your fill of meat, like as a carnivore. It's not cheap, but you know, you cook it up with your friends. It's a real fun time. But yeah, so they give you you just order unlimited plates of meat and they just send it to your table and everybody's on like a buffet type price and you just keep throwing it on the grill in the middle. It comes out raw. So you can cook it however you want. And yeah, it's cool. So at this particular place, I got liver. I ate some raw liver there. I didn't cook that. I thought that would be weird. So I ate the raw liver, doused it in some hot sauce. It was actually pretty good. And yeah, that was a clean meal. Like I could stuff myself on that meat and not have any issue at all. I could probably go run afterwards if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people have a misconception with how you feel after you eat animal foods versus how you feel animal foods plus carbohydrates associated or along with it. So like if you have meat plus sugar and carbs or whatever, you're going to have a very different reaction than just eating the animal foods on their own. You won't feel tired. You won't feel sleepy.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is the case with things like burgers. People think the negative health effects are from the meat, but you're having the bun, the fries, the Coke with it.
Yeah, totally. And that's the quintessential standard American meal if you had to just boil it down into one meal, like burgers and hot dogs and pizza, like standard American diet 101. Every single one of those meals is 20% animal food and 80% shit carbohydrate, processed carbohydrate. You're going to have a massive blood sugar spike, right? So then there's going to be an equal reaction of insulin to then bring your blood sugar down. You're going to crash on energy. And that's just what happens. That's the science behind it. But the vegans latch onto that and say, it was the piece of meat inside that burger. Well, most people aren't out there eating just the meat. And if they are, they're like us. And they know that there's no issue with that. You feel damn good after eating that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so, I mean, we figured it out, Kate. I mean, we've cracked the code on this diet stuff. What else is there left to do? Why is there still a debate about this? What are we even talking about here? It's done. It's the best way, guys.
I wish it was that simple.
Are there people out there that are reacting genuinely badly to this way of eating? They're just like, no, I feel way better on a vegan diet, because I have heard vegans say this. They say that they've introduced small bits of animal foods and that it didn't work for them. They had a horrible detoxing reaction or whatever, and they had to go back to the plants. I've seen this a couple times. Mark Tassi, guys like that.
I haven't seen anyone say that genuinely. I've had a few trolls on my channel say, I've been eating vegan for 10 years. I ate carnivore before that and it didn't work and things like that. And I'm like, well, you weren't eating carnivore 10 years ago. You're probably eating standard American diet. I haven't heard that, but I don't talk to too many vegans that often. I wasn't in that space before, so I don't know very many. And yeah.
That is a big differentiator, you know, because I've heard people say that too. Like, oh, I've tried the keto diet. And you'll hear a guy like Harley, once again, I did keto and then I rode my bike and it didn't work. It's like, dude, you're a very specific kind of athlete. Like you are the one athlete that absolutely needs and runs on carbohydrates. Nobody's arguing with you. Maybe you and marathon runners, but that's it. Like everybody else operates on a high protein beneficial principle. They want weight. Cyclists don't want weight. They want to be lightweight. Runners want to be lightweight. This is like completely against the athletic prototype. You know, athletes generally want power, coordination. Yes, they want some cardiovascular abilities, but that's not the sole focus. With cycling, it's almost like you're willing to sacrifice muscle mass to be more cardiovascularly fit and lighter because your power to weight ratio goes up. It's a very specific sport where you almost welcome being catabolic. So yeah, it's weird that you have people like that are promoting, hey, you shouldn't eat the meat, but eat this way because this is what gave me my performance. But it's like that performance is very specific. That's not the average person.
And yeah, most people are not athletes. They're doing very minimal exercise and nowhere near what Durian Rider's doing, of course. Yeah, so you can't apply his experience to the average person.
No, you cannot. Yeah, so I'm just fascinated that there is a debate about this. And again, going back to the results, and this is what I hear Sean Baker starting to preach now. He's like, the results, guys, the results. What are the results? We could talk mechanisms all day long. We could talk studies all day long. But he's seeing people by the hundreds, if not thousands, try this out, get tremendous results. I've experienced it. N equals 1, but what if I know 20 other people who have also gotten the same results? It's like, the numbers are growing. And again, like you said with the vegan diet earlier, yes, the vegan diet is beneficial if you're coming from a really bad diet beforehand. And again, the differentiator there, because me personally, like I tried keto before I went vegan. I thought I was doing keto, but really I wasn't. I was low carb, but I was like 100 to 250 grams a day. It was like, it was kind of low carb, not quite standard American, but it was like somewhere in the middle. Like I wasn't in ketosis. Carb. It was lower carb. I was drinking alcohol on the weekends, 2 nights a week, getting drunk. Like it was like a very pathetic keto attempt. And so, of course, hearing all the vegan propaganda and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I have two directions to choose here. Go full keto, which I've already experimented with and isn't working for me. Or I can go this healthy plant-based route. And that spoke to me at that time. And then, of course, I did actually get some results. I got some energy back because I was not combining the fat and the carbs at the same time. And we know about this stuff now. So if it wasn't that moral ethical thing, I think that the argument really actually would be over. But because that's still in the mix, that's where we're seeing the sticking point. And not everybody's thinking with logic here. They're thinking more with their emotions and heart and stuff like that, which is understandable, but we need to come to some agreements here. Like we got the results, baby. Like
this is the problem I have anytime I try to have a discussion with a vegan is they just keep switching the argument. I will make the point that it's better nutritionally and they'll be like, but like, what about the planet? We can't sustain this. And it just goes in circles. They keep switching it and it's really frustrating.
Yeah. So, okay, guys. Well, if there's anybody in the chat that wants to throw out some questions for our girl Kait here, she's got a wealth of nutrition knowledge, obviously, for you. If you have ever wanted to ask her something live, this is your chance.
Okay. I think I probably have to wrap it up in 10 minutes or so.
Sounds good. How has your, how do you handle your channel growth, comments, stuff like that? Like you've been getting crazy amounts of, I would imagine each video now is like thousands of comments. Do you just, hey, contact me on Instagram at this point? Because you must be seen as somewhat of an authority here now on the carnivore stuff.
Yeah, I get quite a few comments. I try to go through and at least heart most of them. My Instagram inbox is just the absolute, just flooded. I have a lot of people who just DM me there and I cannot get back to everyone. So YouTube's probably a better way to reach me or even on my Facebook group and things like that. But yeah, sometimes I'll open my phone and there's 100 notifications and I'm just like,
oof.
I can't even just scroll through these. I just need to clear them and read the next lot. But I do try to get through and answer people and help people as much as I can.
Well, it's a good problem to have. So congratulations. People said, when you say combining fat and carbs, are you referring to refined carbs or complex carbs? What is your take on that, Kate?
At the end of the day, they're all carbs.
Yep.
Complex is slightly better than refined, but it's going to affect you more or less the same way in the long term.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think there's much of a difference. If I'm going to have carbohydrates these days, honestly, and this will be disagreed heavily, I'd rather just have processed carbs because at least there's no fiber with it, and I'd rather just have no fiber, personally. And my carb intake is not very high either, so if it's going to be some carbs, it's like, ketchup or a bun. It's not like the majority of my meal. I haven't had spaghetti or pasta one time since I came back to eating meat. Not once. I've had pizza maybe twice or something like that. So that's like late night eating with friends. There's nothing else available. We get pizza. I'm like, ugh, all right. Someone said, Kate, did you notice any body composition changes going carnivore?
So around, not from carnivore specifically. I think I've changed up my exercise a few times along the way, which I think has more to do with it than the diet specifically. Not too much. I didn't like lean out or anything like that. I know that is the case for some people. But no, relatively the same.
Did you notice some water weight loss at least? Because if you cut out that last bit of carbs, I noticed that there's a couple pounds of water weight fluctuation for me. If I have like a big rice meal, I'll carry about 3 pounds the next day or two.
Yeah. Maybe not water weight, but just bloating in general. Okay. Like after I would eat a keto meal, I would just feel more full, I guess, physically. Whereas with carnivore, you never feel bloated.
Yep. I can second that. It's so clean. Oh, sorry guys. I know there's a lot of comments or questions, but I'm greedy here. What do you think about spices in the diet in general? Like, what is your take on that?
Unless you're someone who's really sensitive with serious autoimmune conditions, I think they're fine. It's such a small amount. I put pepper on my food. Some people call me out for that, and I'm like, oh. Okay, a pinch of pepper. I think that's fine for most people. You're pushing things too far at that point. If you're eating these spices and you're feeling good and you're getting results, then what's the point of cutting
people want you to be like the carnivore Terminator. You are the only one, like while they're eating their ice cream, like you're the one who's doing it for real. And they can just, Kate, you're my inspiration, as they're like shoveling in the ice cream.
Yeah.
There's so many questions here. Let me see. Carbs and fat. If you see anything that pops out at you, go for it. I'm just scrolling through. What can you do if you're addicted to carbohydrates, or is it just sugar addiction? We kind of talked about that earlier. People like carbs, man. And I said something on my live stream the other day, which some of the people who identify with eating disorders were a bit triggered by. And I definitely am sensitive to that. I pulled my words back. I was like, look, I told one of the girls on the phone, she is a live caller. She said that she wants to eat animal foods, but she can't get past the first bite. She's bought steaks. She's thrown them out. She's underweight and she's been a vegan for a while. And I was like, look, you got to do whatever you got to do to get that first bite down. So go buy a pint of ice cream from the store if you need to, and just get that dairy in. So now you've broken the seal. You've broken the vegan seal. And she's like, oh, really? And then there's people in the chat that like have eating disorders. And they're like, if you told me to go eat ice cream, I would eat the entire thing plus like 3 trays of French fries, and they would just go off into a binge. And I was like, whoa, like that is not the place that I come from. I mean, I eat like half a jar of ice cream and I start to feel sick. And I'm like, get this trash away from me. I've always been very sensitive to that stuff. So I'm like the other opposite end. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, what is the ideal diet for a healthy adult with a pretty normal lifestyle?
Honestly, from my experience and what I've seen with other people, a mainly animal-based diet, maybe some plants that are low in anti-nutrients, lower in fiber, like fatty fruits, avocado, olives, things like that. Maybe some carbs if you're more active, but yeah, that's been my experience.
Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, I think that if people are willing, just keep a very low carb amount. Be aware of the fat and carbohydrates together, and you will notice major differences in your energy levels. There won't be this crash that we talked about earlier. And carbohydrates are the most addictive foods. You know, the crazy thing about carbs is if I don't eat carbs for like 4 days, we're talking strictly carnivore, my appetite goes almost to zero. I mean, it's every meal is satiety for hours and hours. Yeah. But if you have carbohydrates, like let's say you have carbs for dinner, you'll wake up hungry the next day. Whereas carnivore, you're like, you forget about eating.
Yeah. I think if you're struggling with carb or sugar addiction, just cutting it out cold turkey and doing a carnivore diet, even for 2-3 weeks, that is your best bet in overcoming it.
Please ask Kait, what is her 2020 goal and where does she see herself in 5 years?
Oh, honestly, I'm not much of a goal setter. I don't.
Same.
I find I set goals and just don't, I guess, follow up, try to accomplish them. I don't have anything specifically right now, but just keep going with what I'm doing, keep growing my channel, keep doing my coaching, keep helping people. That's the broad version.
I think it's good. Like, yeah, I see a lot of people with goals. They're like goal intentional people that like set their calendar and they write their calendar out. And it's like, you hear all this stuff like I forget what they call that trend, that movement on YouTube. It's like the Gary V type people that are like these like super hardcore business people that just want to do this thing as like their hobby, basically. That's not how I want to live my life. I enjoy going with the flow a little bit more. Yeah, you still got to make a living. You still got to make money. But what I see with a lot of these goal setting people is they can't stop, man. Like they're not satisfied with anything, you know? So find a balance there. And it's cool to have plans like, oh, I want to grow my channel. Like that's a good goal for me. It's like, well, how much do you want to grow your channel? How much are you going to try to grow by the end of the next year? And what are you going to do? What action steps are you going to do to make that goal happen, Kait? And you're just like,
yeah. Get
out of my face. I don't care. I know you weren't asking a question like that, honest AF. She has good intentions, but that's how I feel about it too. So
yeah. And it's never enough. Like you're like, okay, when I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'll be happy. But then, yeah, it just the goal keeps going up forever.
Yep. Forever. Taylor Marshall, Drew, do you drink pasteurized dairy? I do. Yeah. I drink all store-bought, straight up, standard whole milk. And you
were drinking raw for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I was drinking.
Did you notice a difference?
Yeah, I think raw milk. Now, both milks are fine. I can drink the pasteurized stuff with no bloating or gas or anything like that. But I will say that raw milk is less constipatory. The store-bought milk has a bit more like constipation going for it. So if I don't stay on top of my water intake, it's like the first time in my life I've ever experienced any type of constipation symptoms. But raw milk doesn't have that for me. So yeah. And it's crazy. I'm so sensitive. Like I told the story before you got on that I had some chocolate candies last night after dinner and my stomach just exploded. And it was bad. But this person says store milk is straight up poison to her. Like I can drink store-bought milk, no problem. But you know, I have a couple pieces of chocolate candy I've never had before, and then boom, I blow up, you know? So, so people are asking some other questions. Drew and Kait are more spontaneous. It has its upsides, but the thing is, wishes without plans are just delusion. I agree. You do have to take some action steps, but you notice with a lot of the goal-oriented people, when they don't reach their goal or something gets in the way, they are ruined. They are lost. Like, they need to do that thing, and it becomes obsessive. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. So, like, how much do you really need to enjoy life? Like, you really don't need that much stuff. I like nice stuff. I like money. I like cars. I love Porsches. That's my thing. I like nice cars. So, yeah, would I like the dopest cars? Of course. But if I don't have it, is it going to ruin my day? No, it's not. Does that make sense to you, Kate?
Yeah. Definitely.
Cool.
I find as well when I try to plan things out a lot, like I used to have a calendar and write out like all my YouTube videos. Something will come up, and I find I just get less motivated to do things because I kind of have this big list of all the videos I want to do. And I might be passionate when I'm writing it about those topics, but then when I go to film them, I find I'm procrastinating from planning and doing those videos because I just have set myself up with so much stuff. And then other topics will come up and it'll be really spontaneous, and I'll post a video and it does really well and really well received. So yeah, that's kind of my take. I don't know. I don't set specific goals.
Do you know your personality type?
No, I don't.
You should take the Myers-Briggs 16personalities.com test. It will explain a lot. And I would bet that you're whatever you are, you're a P personality, that there's 4 letters. And at the end, I'm almost willing to bet that you're a P, because the P people, I'm a P. We don't plan anything, but the J people are planners. So it's a J and a P at the end. So that's my prediction for your situation. I don't know the other, other stuff for you. But yeah, so on that note, I know you said you had to go, and if you want to shout out any of your stuff to my audience here, where they can find you, I've linked your stuff below in the description anyway. But yeah, if you have any final,
come over to my YouTube channel. Not the vegan haters. You don't come over, but
there's
everyone
no
else.
vegan haters in here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
They've all gone.
Downvotes.
Oh yeah, I know. Your stream is the only one I've ever seen with a downvote before it started. Kate is a quack. What? Kate is a quack. What? Ban this person. I think they're joking. Okay, let them stay. They keep talking shit though. You guys know what's up. Anyway, so yeah, go to Kate's channel, guys. And original content. Hard to find. You're producing it. Real deal. And you're coaching people. Are people available to, like, do you have openings? Can people get coached by you if they wanted to?
I do monthly group coaching. So it's keto to carnivore. So people who are currently keto and want to start a carnivore diet. It's a 4-week program that opens at the end of every month. So in a couple of weeks, you can find that on my website, which is healthcoachkate.com. And just Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. But
awesome. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show, and I will tidy up with everybody here, but appreciate it. And yeah, we'll talk later.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Kate. Bye. All right. Health Coach Kate, everybody. I love Kate. How can you not love Kate? Rachel's talking shit? Luke, take care of it. Take care of it, Luke. Take care of it. You've got the power, Luke. Any last words? Any last words, Rachel? Any last words, Rachel? Wait for it, Luke. Let's let her speak. Rachel, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. She's got 5 seconds. Thanks, Kate. Shout out to Kate. Take care of it. Take care of it, Luke. Take care of it. See, we got the most interactive chat on YouTube. Wish you all well. Okay, good last words. Good last words. See? There you go. There you go. That's a wrap. I wish you all well. Like Jesus on the cross. There we go. Love it. That's sustainability right there. We have the most interactive chat on YouTube. If you see some shit talking, yeah, you're gonna get modded. That's the Drew Morgan way. We have executions around here, public executions. That was fun. Love it. All right, what's going on in the chat? Tank says, fuck planning anything. Oh, here we go. We got a donation. It's about to pop up. Ooh, let me get the video alerts popping. You guys know I like it full volume when it's just me. Kate's Instagram is also great. She kills it with informational graphics. Yeah, her informational graphics are the best in the business. They look nice.
And here we've got some cranberry juice. It's great for your penis
or vagina. Yes, it's great for those things. Thank you, Ted, for the advice. Appreciate that. Huge appreciation to Ted Carr. He's another sponsor of the stream. Big fan. Ted's always making sure that we're taken care of with our cranberry needs. Thank you, JG, for the $5 donation. Appreciate that. Thank you, lovely Coach Kate. Good job. Cargill Chill. Oh, I forgot to ask if she's a Cargill member. Damn it. We'll have to save that for next time. Oh, somebody asking about the raw garlic experiment for the dysbiosis malabsorption. Dude, somebody was freaking me out about it the other day. They were telling me all kinds of stuff. And it was like the first time I've ever listened to a comment regarding health stuff. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm stopping it. Drew should have Frank come and do his makeup. My makeup? Do I need to do a wipe down test? I just went to MAC Cosmetics before this and I got it done. Kylie Jenner did it for me. Drew was going to suggest adding more full fat plain yogurt to your dairy for wicked gains. Yeah. Well, what I've noticed is that as soon as I start adding in a little bit of carbs, like a little bit extra more than my 100 grams a day or whatever, I start to gain fat, man. Michael Morgan. Welcome Michael Morgan to the chat. Love the videos. Appreciate that, Michael Morgan. We'll make Michael Morgan a moderator. Drew, what do you drive? You strike me as a Porsche Boxster guy. That's offensive to me, to be honest with you. But yes, I do have access to a Porsche Boxster. It's not mine. I do get to drive it, though. A lot. And I like it. But that is very offensive to call somebody a Boxster guy, okay? Although it's an awesome car. What's wrong with the garlic? The raw garlic situation is that it's just kind of not necessary. And it could potentially kill off all your bacteria. So I did it for a week. I feel good. I don't have any digestive situations anymore. Other than if I eat something really whack, like a bunch of chocolate after dinner. And I bet you if I would have waited like an hour to eat that chocolate, I would have been cool. Annaball. I'm not doing Annaball. Hell no. We don't need that, baby. Frank at least answers chat questions. What do you mean I don't answer chat questions? I have to focus on the guests. Frank doesn't even interview people. I had to talk to my guest. Reading the chat and talking to the guest at the same time is impossible. You're either going to choose one or the other. You're either going to have a bad conversation with the guest where you're not into it at all and you're reading the chat, or you are reading the chat and like hopefully you guys are coming up with awesome questions. But yeah, it just doesn't flow as well in my opinion. Are you sure it's fat and not just glycogen stores filling up? Yes, because my stomach, specifically around my belly button area, gets a lot more fatty looking. Like I can pinch the little fat above my belly button. Luke says, it seems Frank is not coming to your channel. Something tipped him off. Yeah, I know. It's all right. It's all right. My dad gets offended when he smells garlic on people. So does mine, actually. He hates garlic. Thinks it smells so bad. Has Kate tried made by a cow cold pressed raw milk? No, but I'm sure that's cold pressed raw milk. Why do you need to cold press raw milk? What? Are you messing with me? Frank is isolating himself. Yeah. That's what I think he's doing. But his channel's growing, you know. There's an audience for guys like Frank, and I don't say that negatively. YouTube is a very big place, a very diverse place. But the people that I feel like he's cultivating with that type of personality is I don't know if he's going to want to do that. Like, he's going to have to further and further isolate himself with that type of personality. Like, I say my piece, I make criticisms of people, I make judgments about people, but I'll also let them come on the show anytime they want, and we can talk about it, and we can agree or disagree face to face, so to speak. And if I was sitting in a room with them, I would say the same exact things as I say to them on YouTube. Everything that I've said in this stream today, I would say to Frank in person. Frank Tufano honestly seems like a nice dude. I agree. I don't have an issue with him personally. I've already said he can come back on the show. He pissed me off a little bit with his comment saying you're playing both sides. I didn't even know what that meant. And then I realized he's talking about this Cargills Chill stuff. It's like, does he really think I'm a Cargill? What is he talking about? What do I have that would lead you to believe I'm a Cargills Chill? Do you, Frank, do you want to see my bank account? You're going to believe real quick I'm not a Cargills Chill. Give me a break. Drew, do you think Tristan PEH is a bully? I think Tristan is very opinionated, strongly opinionated. I think that he is onto a lot of good stuff. I think that he might be one of the most opinionated in this space. But I mean, I think he's right on a lot of times. So maybe the way that he comes across pisses people off, but sometimes people need to hear that. That's his thing, though. That's his thing. You know, I'm not trying to replicate that for sure. I want sort of a balanced, like, left side, right side type approach. And I think that Tristan does do that as well. Like, he had Leo Venus on recently. He wasn't bashing him. He doesn't like that you promote grain-fed meat. Well, I don't promote grain-fed meat. I said that's all I can afford. So that's a big difference there. So basically what he's saying is that Frank won't promote anybody doing a high meat-based diet if they can't afford grass-fed beef. And if that's the case, then I disagree with him. His information videos are great. His conspiracy videos is what kills it. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about Tristan, but if you're talking about Frank, I don't know who you're talking about there, but I don't get into conspiracy stuff at all. I think that conspiracy stuff is a waste of time. I don't care whose family is related to whose family, who's running the show behind the scenes. That is all irrelevant information to me. That is a rabbit hole that you can never get to the bottom of. And I care more about stuff I can tangibly touch and deal with in real life. I care about health stuff. I care about how, I perform in the gym. Later, J-Star. Have a good day. Thanks, Eco Steve. I don't think Frank likes Bobby. Yeah, well, I don't think he does either. I don't know if Bobby cares about him. Bobby's coming on Saturday. So we'll talk to him then, and we'll see what he has to say about it. If he wants to even comment, maybe he doesn't. Luke Gear says, by the way, when he says Cargill, he means any possible feedlot company, really. Okay, so, well, I mean, I'm not sponsored by any company whatsoever at all. Like, this is a straight up Drew Morg production, zero sponsorship. I don't have any feedlot. I'm not sponsored by Stater Bros or Kroger. I don't have any connections to anybody. I hang out with grain-fed supporters. No, I don't. I don't know a single person who promotes grain-fed beef. I say that I eat it. Like I said, I don't really promote it. I just say, hey, it's pretty much as good. And that's just an honest assessment. But if you're always going to come from it at the angle of that person's getting paid to say that, then you're an idiot. You're an idiot if you think that. There's billions of people eating factory farm meat. They're not all Cargills Chills. They're just doing what they can afford. It's a really stupid, open and shut conversation. There's no, he has no proof of any of that. And it's stupid. It's a really dumb thing to say. And I will gladly, directly speak back to that. Drew Morg is paid by the government. Oh yeah, totally. Tell him how rich I am, Michael. Tell him how rich I am. Tell him. Nense says, I really appreciate your pragmatism and diplomacy. I think you're killing it and really nailing the tone. Your channel needs to grow. Consider me a fan. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Just telling you what he said on his stream. Oh, okay. Well, if you saw what he said on the stream, please regurgitate exactly what he said, because I didn't see it. So I would like to hear what he said. And don't be trolling me either. What BS? Potatoes are far cheaper. What? Potatoes are garbage. Potatoes and rice. I mean, if for athletic purposes, you can load up on rice, but I mean, as far as a health food, those are not really health foods, in my opinion. Drew Morgan is an Agent Smith. Reef Guzzler says, I think some of the feedlot beef in America might be worse than in other countries, honestly, because some of it I don't feel very good eating. I would probably go to another supplier then. The beef I get is raised in California. It's feedlot beef, sure, but it's high quality feedlot beef, I guess. And it's not all the same. I mean, sometimes you get a little variation in that meat as well, which is interesting to me. Are you mad because you aren't as pretty as Frank? Yes, I am. That definitely does upset me. Okay. Abyss says, Frank said in his stream last night that you were going to screw him over during the live stream. Something about having someone else come on the chat and argue with him. That video is still up. Okay. Yeah, I would never do that. I talk to some of my guests before they even come on, and I say, I'm accommodating, man. I'm respectful of what they will and what they won't talk about. If there's something that they're just definitely not going to get into, like for instance, Sunford Dan.
Here comes a real steak. But just look at the texture of this thing.
Seeking Truth in Christ, thank you for the $2. Thoughts on ginseng and epimedium? What the hell is that? Ginseng, don't know much about it. Again, it's one of those like woo-woo herbs. I don't think it's really necessary to be consuming these things. I don't know what benefit it would really give you, especially if you're already on a carnivorous type diet. I mean, I feel damn good, man. I feel damn good. Maybe a carnivore type person wants more variety in their diet, but I don't think they're going to go to ginseng for that. Anyway, thank you for the $2 donation. So going back to what I was saying about the Frank situation. Yeah, I wouldn't be trying to sabotage him. I don't know how I would do that in the first place. I haven't done that with any person on my stream. As far as I know, every person has been well treated. The only person that it may have gotten dicey with was having Raw Bliss on. Tristan came on, said some strong stuff to him, but he took that very well, and the audience liked it too. So yeah, I'm not here to screw Frank over. If he doesn't want anybody else on the stream, I wouldn't do a sneak attack on him with some random person. That would be really weird, and it would ruin my future potential for trust with other guests. Why would I do that? The only other dicey conversation we had was like Mike the Vegan with Chris Kruger, and they both agreed to come on and talk to each other beforehand. So, yeah, again, that's very unfounded information. It's like super weird. He's told me you don't get to play both sides. What? I don't claim any side, bro. Drew, I wouldn't say that grain-fed is almost as good as grass-fed. You get tons of pesticides depending on what the cows are fed, plus things like omega-3 and omega-6 ratios. I would just eat less. Eating less is not an option for me. The amount that I'm eating right now, which is about 2 pounds a day plus eggs, I can't afford to eat less. Someone says I wouldn't look up to Dr. Paul. Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion, I guess. I'm going to have him on the channel next week, and we'll talk to him. We'll see. We'll see what he wants to add to the whole conversation. My kind of goal, and I was thinking about this morning with my channel, is I love information. I love researching stuff. I love knowledge in general. When I come across somebody that has information that I want to obtain, I go straight to them and I ask them and I want to pick their brain and get the best bits of information out of them. You know, I felt like today with Kait, for instance, we got so much good information out of her in such a short period of time. If it was your first time seeing Kait today, I would come away from that conversation pretty damn impressed and confident and trusting of her that she knows what she's talking about. And she also gave me a lot of valuable information that I genuinely wanted to know. That first 30 minutes or so with her was me asking questions that I really wanted to know myself. So that's kind of like the approach that I take with my content. Atlas says, Drew is my favorite carnivore dude. Bobby and Primal are tied for a humble second. Hey, awesome. I like those guys too. How can you watch Primal Edge and not know they are conspiring against us? I'm not saying that people aren't conspiring against us. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter if you know or not. What good is that information going to do for you? To know that people are conspiring against you. If the government is planning some crazy takedown, just pick your battle. Like for me, it's the food thing. I want to eat the food that I want. I don't want vegans trouncing on my rights to eat meat, let's say. That's what I'm going to focus on. I don't care about the Rothschilds and the Epsteins and all that stuff. That is irrelevant to me. Lukier says, Drew, do you want the stream timing so you can see what Frank said? Sure. Yeah, please. And if you can hit me on Instagram, that even better. Or you can just send it in here and I'll save it. Common Sense Keto says, a doctor that says he does keto will be insta-famous no matter how good they are. Someone can be a genius with it and be relatively unknown if they don't have an MD. I disagree. There's a lot of doctors trying to pull that angle. If you look around on YouTube, there's a lot of doctors that are talking about the keto stuff and they're not necessarily famous. I'd say Saladino has risen to the top. And it's probably because of how good he is at making connections with people. He moved to San Diego. This is like an epicenter for that stuff. He's friends with a lot of big people that are already popular on YouTube. I mean, he's done a great job of marketing himself. So he's willing to do interviews. He's willing to come on my show and do an interview next week. So there you go. So much for Drew being open-minded. What? What do you mean? What am I not open-minded about? Drew, got any tips on how to gain weight and who can't consume eggs or dairy? Same height as you, but severely underweight. Oof, brother. It's a struggle every day, man. I say that you just need to... consider carbohydrates at that point. If you're really, really struggling like that, consider carbohydrates. Nancy says, have you considered using a service stream like StreamYard that allows you to highlight the comment you're replying to on screen? Adds a lot of value to the rewatchability of your streams. I can't use it because of the way that I have my entire thing set up. There's positives and negatives to both. Did you notice a change in your body odor when adding red meat back in? No, it's the same. The only time I get BO is if I drink caffeine. If I don't drink caffeine for 2 days, then there's nothing. There's so many comments. I cannot even respond to this. Common Sense Keto says these doctors are much more likely to be famous. He'll say, I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. One Punch Vegan, our favorite vegan, says, I offered Drew to go 90 days full carnivore, but he has not the balls to go full vegan with my meal plan for 90 days. I haven't officially turned you down, have I? I have been teasing to my channel a bit that I would possibly consider doing another vegan run for 60 to 90 days. I don't know that I would do your diet. You never told me what your diet is. I would not agree to do something that I don't know what it is beforehand anyway. So if you want to email me what your full diet is, I'll take a look. I'm putting together what I think the perfect vegan diet is. If I'm going to do the vegan diet, I'm going to do it my way. You can do carnivore if you want. That's neither here nor there to me. Hard gainers should drink a gallon of milk every day, in my opinion, but I'm no expert. Gallon of milk is a lot, man. That's an insane amount of calories and a lot of liquid. I think that would be very tough for most people to accomplish. People are asking me about conspiracy stuff. I'm the wrong guy, guys. I'm sorry. I'm the wrong guy for the conspiracy stuff. I think people are offended that I wasn't open-minded about the conspiracy stuff. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the conspiracy stuff. What I'm saying is it's just not that interesting to me. And it doesn't matter. Like, cool. You know the Rothschilds' family history and tree, and like, you know who's controlling which bank. Like, not interesting to me. Who cares? So what? People are going to be scamming and running shit behind the scenes for the rest of your life. So, like, it's almost better to remain ignorant about it, to be honest with you. Rather just focus on the basic shit that I can control on a daily basis. It's already hard enough. Sarah Marsan says, Drew, did you find it hard to get over the carbs craving when you made the switch from vegan to carnivore? I feel addicted to carbs and wonder if it's physiologic or purely emotional. If I had to reference my gut instinct on that, I would say that it is purely emotional. Because when I went from vegan to carnivore for 40 days, there was no carb addiction whatsoever. I was so sick of what I was eating at that point. My digestion was so bad. I was so desperate that I just jumped on board. If you're feeling like you need some carbohydrates, then eat some dairy. Drink some dairy, milk, yogurt, kefir. There you go. That's my carb fix for you. Clown Mazard says, carb cravings never disappear for me, no matter how long I do keto or carnivore. Then maybe you're meant to eat a little more carbs. Maybe your activity levels denote more carbohydrate intake, I guess. Clown Mazard, do you believe in the law of attraction? Yes, to a very basic extent. I think that positive people typically get better results than negative people in life in general. Do I believe that if you like stare at some vision board every morning and you like fill your head with all of these, lines of affirmation that you're going to get some result? No, I don't think that really matters that much. Look at all the billionaires and super famous, popular, crazy, high-end, overachieving people on this planet. Probably less than 1% of those people do any law of attraction stuff. I'm just saying. One Punch Vegan says, Drew, just make my meal plan for carnivore and I'll do your meal plan. No. That's so vegan of you to think that you could just make me a plan and that it's going to work out. How many supplements do you want me to take? First of all, let's start there. I'm interested to see what you have to say, what you think is the ideal vegan diet. Drew, do you do raw organs? Yes. Sometimes, not all the time. That's not part of my monthly regime even. I'll have it whenever it's available. Raw liver makes me feel like Superman. Feels damn good. And I feel like I'm kind of getting in like my medicine or something. But there's nothing... I'm not buying it and incorporating it on a regular basis. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Drew, what do you think about Agenus Primal Diet? The guy who eats, who promoted eating raw meat and stuff like that, I think it's fine. I think the people who are doing it and like it, fine. Like, there's a woman, Azri. She's like a Taiwanese lady, or not Taiwanese, Thai lady that's does mukbangs on YouTube that eats like a whole plate of raw meat. Have you guys seen this lady? She's got a pretty small channel. She looks really healthy, and she's like in her 40s. She looks amazing. Way better than any vegan at that age. J-Star says, I asked Frank. He said, someone tipped him off that you were going to expose or gaslight him. Can't remember the exact words. Nope. Nobody contacted me about Frank. In that way, they wanted to see him on my channel. It's frustrating. It's a little frustrating that he's getting... See, that's the thing, is his audience, the amount of trolling that he gets on a daily basis, he can't trust anybody. And that's just... that's what comes with the territory of making constant videos about negative things to say about other people. Vegan Gains, for instance, he's shocked that people don't like him on the internet and make videos about him. But he made like his entire channel, he got famous off of making videos about other people. Very negative videos about other people. So the type of crowd that is going to be attracted to that, to watching that content, to be supporting you from making that content, that is not going to be, let's say, the most positive, peaceful crowd. That's going to come with a lot of haters, man. Like, do you guys, if that's what you want to do, but don't be shocked that this is what it brings. I think as content creators, all of the people who make YouTube videos, there's a time and a place where they consider making some like hate content pieces about people, because we could talk about stuff like that, you know, and it will make the channel grow, but you got to consider what it's going to come with. That's why I stay away from that content mostly. If I say something about somebody on my stream, I will say that to their face in person. I will say it to their face on stream if they come on. That doesn't make me some special tough guy. Just makes me stand by what I have to say, and I have a genuine, honest opinion. And I try to keep it as constructive and non-hate-filled as possible, if that makes sense. One Punch Vegan wants me to take B12 supplement and allows me 1 oyster per day or 4 grams of liver to get enough B12. Oh, okay. So I can take an oyster supplement to get my B12. Okay. How much? You got to sense, like, what's breakfast looking like? Mocha Choco Loco says, Vegan Gains doesn't know how to train. That's why he has 1,000 injuries. I think people can get injured. I get injured from time to time. Azra Conlu, that's the name of the Thai lady that I was talking about. Thank you. Joy is aware. Appreciate that. She's Filipina. Okay, didn't want to get that wrong. She is not from Thailand. She is a Filipino. Yeah, man. Guys, don't trip. If Frank's going to come on the channel, he'll come on the channel. Don't worry. This will blow over, I think. I didn't react negatively to what he had to say. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Vegan Gains says it to people's face, but he is so awkward IRL LMAO. Yeah, man, the live stream he did with John Venus. Like, wow, man. Yeah, I mean, he said everything to John. Okay, fine, fair enough. But you just see the disposition in both of them. Like the way that Vegan Gains delivers his message, the way that John delivers his message. John's the one taking all the hate and sitting back, and he's just chilling. And then you have like Vegan Gains just going hard on him. And what did it really accomplish? Like, did he expose John? I don't understand. Thank you, Luke. Go ahead and post the video in here. Oh, J-Star, you're the one who asked. That's dope. Go ahead and post it up. I'll save the video for later and I'll check it out myself. Or I'll watch it on here, actually. I'll watch it right now. Yeah, John's respect, like my respect for John went up even more after watching that stream. It was so cringy. And John just held it together like a man. I gotta respect him for that. That was dope. He just held it together so well. When I see people, when you know that most people would just react also emotionally and supercharged negative, like throwing that hate back, like it would have looked bad for both of them, to be honest with you. But instead, John held his composure. He kept it clean cut. And he was just like, dude, don't you think you're making veganism look bad by the way that you're talking to me? Like, who's the one who looks bad here? And I gotta side with John on that one. That's the way that I see it. Yeah, he was like crossing his arms and he's just like, like going all in. Like, dude, come on. It's not a comfortable thing to watch. Common Sense Keto says he's been training at high intensity for a decade. Only 1 injury. That was like 7 years ago. Yeah. I think some people are just better built for working out, man. I seem to get injured all the time, no matter what diet I'm eating, no matter, but the thing is they heal. The injuries heal on the animal foods diet. I had injuries that didn't heal for over a year or two on veganism. So that was interesting how that works. I never thought that would be an issue. Where's that stream link, Luke? Let's watch it. One Punch Vegan says, Drew, the breakfast would be adjusted to your needs. Whatever the needs are, I would not argue with too many fiber after being on such an elimination diet for so long. Carnivore is not an elimination diet, first of all. And I eat everything. So I think you would be shocked at what I'm capable of handling. Or what I do eat, anyway. No, John. No, John. John. Vegan Gain said he'd die before he eats animal products. That right there shows how unhinged he is. Yeah, I commented on that a few times on my stream. Like, again, if he really means that, and he says that publicly, that's respectable to me. Because at least he's saying he's going to go down with the ship, and that the ship may go down. He's acknowledging that the ship may go down, and that he's down to go with it. Cool. Hey, you do you, buddy. I don't care. But don't be that guy who says 100% of people can do the vegan diet, therefore I have nothing to worry about. Nothing's ever going to affect me. That's the dangerous advice giver there. People who are on the fence about going vegan that watch that live stream that saw Vegan Gain say that, they're probably thinking, oh shit, this guy's crazy. He's willing to go down with the ship. Why isn't he arguing for the health of the vegan diet? It's because he probably knows at some point within himself that he doesn't feel as amazing as he used to. Okay, One Punch Vegan says that even beer is allowed once or twice a week on this hypothetical vegan diet. Okay. Drew, can you do cardio on carnivore? I bet you can't. I don't know. I haven't experimented with it. I bet it wouldn't be as hard as you think it is. You high carb vegans put way too much faith in carbs. You really do. Yeah, I got you, Common Sense Keto. Like right now, I have a very slight lower back injury. It's almost 100% healed now. It was really bad like 2 weeks ago. I was squatting, and like one particular squat, I didn't have my legs. I didn't have my legs spread enough, and it was making my back round a little too much. And because my back rounded, there's a little ligament or something that just it hurt bad, man. It like tore or something like that. Luke says, by the way, I just wanted to see what he said. Dude, I can't see it. Whatever the case is, it's not even showing up. Here, let me give you mod again. And then maybe you can post it. There you go. See if you can post it now. So What is here to give us their vegan peace of mind. There's always dumber. Nothing surprises me anymore. Maybe the whole theory is not organic to begin with, but made up purposefully. What are you guys talking about? You guys on some conspiracy ex-vegan propaganda over there? What's the deal? Cardio is super easy on carnivore. Thanks, Devox. Good to know. Don't go back to vegan, Drew. No, dude. Sorry, dude. J-Star. Why do I always say you're dude? Ma'am, miss. Yeah, when I think of eating a vegan meal, I'm not even exaggerating this. It makes me feel depressed immediately. Like just thinking about it. When I think of a giant plot of rice with like a bunch of veggies and tofu on it, I'm like, ugh, I don't want that. Don't even want that. Vegan Gains unlisted that debate. Did he really? Is it no longer available online? Frank's last stream 139. Okay, let me go check that out real quick. Give me a second, guys. And I want, yeah, so. Well, so even if Vegan Gains did get rid of that, even if he did get rid of it, ha, sucker. I downloaded it.
I don't give a fuck, John.
You never get rid of this Vegan Gains.
That actually exists. Look,
you're never getting rid of it, buddy.
If what I'm saying is true, if what I'm saying is accurate, John, if what I'm saying is true, if what I'm saying is accurate, I don't give a fuck if it hurts somebody's feelings. Okay, John?
Oh.
And if you care so much about feelings, then how about caring about how the fucking animals feel for once?
Oh, the animals. Oh my god, okay. What about the animals you kill, Vegan Gains, with your crop production and all the little foxes and little rodents and mice that you kill? Do you care? Do you care? I thought you cared about the animals, man. The only way is to simply stop eating. That is the only way that you'll really care, because then you won't be harming anything. That's the only proper way. Upload that video, Drew. Nah, I'm not going to do that. But I have it here. Let me go pull up that Frank Tufano stream. Please turn this off. I knew he was going to delete it. I knew Vegan Gains was going to delete that, so that's why I have it. I 100% just knew it was going to disappear. Let me find this Frank Tufano stream. Give me a second, guys. This is some live action here. And I exited my damn... There we go. I'm back to the console, the command center. All right, Frank Tufano, where you at, dog? Frank's last live stream. Oh, he's got a thing tonight, 5:30 p.m. Are vegans stupid or just liars? And it's got Unnatural Vegan, Vegan Gains, and Elise Parker. Okay. Yeah, I wonder, just another high quality stream. Interesting. Oh, people said it's not down. What the hell is ROS theory? You guys really don't like his voice in that video, huh? That video, whatever you're linking there, Luke, is not working, dog. Sorry. Apparently the video is still on. Frank said he's not appearing on our channel. Yes, I'm aware of that. He told me that in email. Tuesday stream. All right, pulling it up.
And quite a while. For those of you guys that aren't familiar, I've been, following a carnivorous diet for 7 years. And, what separates me from, that's where they find you committed suicide with 2 gunshots to the back of your head. Like if I start talking about the Seventh-day Adventists in every video for like 3 weeks straight, that's where I'm going to start having issues. But if you talk about it once a year, that's not that big of a deal. You can't really, as long as you don't go crazy with it. No, I'm not going on that person's channel. I got an inside tip he was going to try to expose me for some bullshit and make up his own twisted narrative.
How do you get exposed for something that how do you get exposed for something that isn't true? So what is he worried about? Because I'm sure in his mind he thinks that there's nothing to expose him over. This is very hard for me to process, guys. This is very hard for me to process. I did ask him. I said, "Excuse me." And then I put another email. I was like, "Is this what you're talking about?" And I showed him some link to a video he made because I thought it had to do with that. And it wasn't. I had no idea about this. Somebody just told me during my live stream right now. Your comment is there. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. He's going to expose me. What? That is not even my goal with my conversations, my chats, my interviews. I'm not here to expose I don't give a shit. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It's funny that he wouldn't say my name either. Like he had a chance right there to be like, Drew Morg is this type of guy. Like you guys shouldn't trust him. Like if he really believed what he was saying, but now he's just like, no. Can't. He's got an inside tip on me. He knows the information. Keep watching it? Really? Okay, well, let's see. Let's study. Let's study our boy Frank.
Would you ever do a grooming tutorial? You're looking good, no homo. How do you take care of your hair and skin? Go to, I have a video titled My Morning Routine where that you can
Does he
check
keep
out
talking about
that I
it?
posted last week if you would like to know my grooming tips. Check it out, My Morning Routine.
Don't try to process
I was
it.
honestly thinking about not censoring this video, but
Don't try to process it. It's irrational. Stop trying to rationalize the irrational. Well, I'm not saying he's irrational. What? What is this, dude? Why? Wait, was that accidental?
If you would like to know my grooming tips, check it out, My Morning Routine. You know, I was honestly thinking about not censoring this video, but I don't want the fairy boys to get to.
Anyways, I got no problems with Frank, man. Frank. Hey, if you guys are a fan of Frank and you guys watch his stream, send him the clip in the moment of this live stream. Frank, I'm not here to expose you. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know who your inside tip is. I don't know who the person may be. I don't know what they possibly told you. It's hilarious. And I don't know what that is all about. So anyway, moving on, guys. That's it. Okay. Luke says he avoids mentioning anyone's name even when responding. He doesn't want to promote. Yeah. That's fine. He doesn't have to promote me. He's the big shot now. You know, he's got the 65K followers or whatever. He can do whatever he wants. It's fine. Jarls, not once was I promoting veganism, so not sure why you're even bringing that up. I am just against full carnivore. Okay. What's up, Anina? How you doing? You just got home? Were you out late again? Were you drinking again? Seem to be on a nightly terror. His morning routine video was an American Psycho parody. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I think Frank is equally good at trolling his own people. Cole Robinson said in his latest video that vegans can't gain muscle and they are all lying. They're either cheating or on gear. See, that's interesting that he says that, because I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's some people who can pull it off. I just think that for whatever reason, their digestive system is a lot more robust than most people, and they can actually gain some of the nutrition from that food for whatever the reason is. I don't know how that's possible. Again, a lot of these guys are on protein powders, and they're on protein powders specifically with digestive enzymes. The Vivo Life protein powder has digestive enzymes built into the powder, which probably helps them to a very high degree. Yeah, that's funny. The video is fine. The Frank Tufano morning routine, cool, man. I'm all for him doing whatever stuff he likes to do. I've never said a legitimately bad thing about Frank. I think we agree on most of the same stuff with in regards to what we eat, all that. What about Cole Robinson? I think he's badass. I would love to talk to that guy, actually. I should reach out to him, actually. I think he would probably come on the show, too. That would be a funny conversation, man. There'd be a lot of... I'm not getting monetized on that stream, let me tell you. That's going to go straight to YouTube blacklist. Anina says she was on a date, had 2 drinks, got to go to sleep now and work. Not going out often. Wow. A date with 2 drinks? Sounds like it didn't go that well. Jenny, I read what you said about the credit for the butcher box situation. It's whatever. I don't need credit for convincing people to do whatever they're going to do. A lot of her audience blamed me for making her go carnivore, but I didn't do anything. I just told her what I found. I told her what my initial reaction was to the food, and then she followed along closely, and that was it. And so she made her own decision. We weren't even in the same state at the time, so she made her own decision on that. So whatever, it's whatever. I don't need credit for it. Common Sense Keto says, I have not seen Cole get any bigger in years. He just cut weight from starving. You ain't gaining lean mass, not eating. Yeah, I agree too. He does have an interesting body shape, especially for a guy that works out and is strong as he is and eats the way that he does. I'm wondering why that is. My Weebop says, Frank is a hardworking guy and he promotes, or sorry, Frank is a hardworking guy and he provides value to his community. I agree with that. I do agree with that. And Seeking Christ says, they are taking supplements, Drew, in response to the vegan bodybuilders. It's not possible eating whole food plant-based. I agree with that. It's definitely not possible eating whole foods plant-based. You definitely need supplements. Yeah, Planetary Farm says her husband is naturally muscular, so he can make some gains as a vegan, but he noticed a lot more gains on the meat. Yeah. Definitely. I was so much bigger and stronger before going vegan as a meat eater that was consuming carbohydrates and meat. Lon Mazard says, the people who can handle beans are the ones who last on the vegan diet the longest. People who had problems with beans from the beginning can't last very long. Yeah, if your digestive system can handle legumes, then you're probably going to be all right. In terms of muscle building, I don't know if all the other stuff is going to pan out for you, but in terms of getting adequate protein, I think you maybe can pull it off because beans, especially lentils, have adequate, like reasonable levels of leucine in them, which is the amino acid that is mostly responsible for protein synthesis. So yeah, important. In your stream with Vegan Gains said plant protein is as qualitative based on a study with protein powder. It should be mentioned that vegans protein, what? Oh, vegan protein powders are fortified with BCAAs often. I mean, like I keep mentioning, go back and look into the early 1900s, the Bronze Era. These guys were eating a whole foods, animal-based diet. They were not consuming any protein or any supplements or any steroids. None of that stuff existed yet. And yet they have very, very well-developed, very nice physiques that almost any person would want to have these days. Luke says, once you have cleared your higher priority guests, could you feature Jade Solar? She's the most popular Brazilian carnivore. I mean, I take guests based on their availability, the amount of interest I have in the interview to begin with. I don't care really necessarily that they have to be a high priority or like big or whatever, if that's what you mean. Moco Choco says, vegan protein powders have no cholesterol and fat. That's the benefit in animal protein versus cellulose. No, not necessarily. There's still benefits to the amino acid breakdown profile of the animal foods, which is higher leucine as well on top of that. So yeah, there's more to it than just the cholesterol and the fat. I'm under the belief that you can't make gains on a properly whole food plant-based diet. We're talking no tofu. We're talking no tempeh. We're talking literally plants and vegetables. You can cook them, but that's not going to work. Yeah, people are commenting about the comments made to Dave Feldman regarding the computer purchasing situation on Twitter. I thought that was incredibly out of line. Incredibly out of line. Frank, that was not a good move, dude. I don't respect that at all. That was pretty whack. You don't know the guy. He told you right away what his nonprofit is registered under in the state of Nevada, and basically just shut Frank down real quick. I think Frank should offer a public apology for what he said there. To be perfectly honest with you there. We see Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan trying to make gains, but he fails miserably. I mean, he thinks that he's making gains. So that's like where the delusion begins, you know? That's the thing is like, if it would be real easy for me to hardcore clown on the vegan gains, not vegan gains the person, but like actual vegan gains muscle wise. But man, you know, I'm not over here gaining muscle mass left and right, and I am training every other day. Full body routine. Maybe it's my training that's not imposing max muscle growth, but I'm eating 3,000 calories a day. And I'm still not really gaining much size, much weight. So like I could, if I had gained, let's say 20 pounds this year since leaving veganism, it would be just such an open and shut case. Obviously, I do believe it. Obviously, I know I can make crazy gains on animal foods with carbohydrates. I have not been able to crack the code on getting like absolutely massive and staying lean without the use of carbohydrates. Hasn't happened yet. Add more yogurt. People want more yogurt. Yeah, I noticed as soon as I cut out carbs for like a few days, my abs start to show again. So it really just instantly cuts down on the fat. We're gonna increase the carbs to gain mass. Yeah, I could. I'm not willing to give up just yet. I only just recently started adding in the 4 cups of milk again because I could handle it. You got to crack your genetic code. But I am gaining weight. I believe I gained 2 pounds this month. Not this month, but the last 30 days. Because I started drinking milk on a regular basis again. When I wasn't drinking milk, I was consistently losing weight. Slowly. Charles says, have you seen the article by Diet Doctor with a guy eating 5,800 calories a day for a month and gain only 2 pounds? Dude, that sounds like my situation, man. Especially with carnivore. I just feel like your body takes what it needs and it doesn't do anything with the rest. You gain no fat. Eat 4 to 6 meals a day of smaller amounts and protein, lift heavy. The approach that I'm taking right now is much more of a high volume, very muscle mind connection approach with a slightly higher reps, 3 sets per. I'm really squeezing at the end of each rep. I'm really, really focusing on my workouts. And like, I come home and my arms are just dead, man. Like fully dead. I don't think I've ever felt like the muscle be as, like, what do you call it? Exhausted. Like my muscles just feel exhausted. So I think it's working. I'd like to see myself get up to, about 160, 165. If you guys know who William Schufelt is, he's another carnivore dude out there, and he looks phenomenal. He's super lean. He's really strong for his size. He looks amazing. I would love to get, and we have a very, very similar body type. We're the same height. If I was the same weight and body fat as him, we'd look like twins, man. He's like my carnivore doppelganger. He wants to do a show too. He said he's down. He lives like 20 minutes away from me. Common Sense Keto says, that is good. Just increase your frequency of meals so you get more muscle protein synthesis. That could be a factor. When I've made the biggest gains in my life was always when I was eating more frequently. I was, and specifically I was eating protein shakes in between meals, but I don't think it was a lack of protein that I was needing. I think it was simply another insulin spike probably, to be honest with you. And like you're saying, maybe a little bit more protein synthesis. Vast Vision says, Drew has a good amount. Hey, new commenter in the chat. Drew has a good amount of muscle mass. No need to become a mass monster. Yeah, but I just want to become like a little bit bigger. Maybe like 160. What's your measurements now, Drew? Height, weight? I'm 146 in the morning, dry. No carbs in the tank. Like here, if I wanted to go eat, if I went to go eat at a, let's say some Indian restaurant, right? And I go load up on lentils and rice and all this stuff. I will carry around an extra 4 to 5 pounds on my body overnight. Because all that is water weight and carbohydrates. But dry. We're talking after I go to the bathroom, when I wake up in the morning, I'm totally dry, no liquids in my body. I'm 146. and I'm 5'10". But this seems to be working, and I'm enjoying it as well. So we'll see. Yeah, carbs don't build true muscle mass, but they definitely help you fill out and create that like swollen, large look. Yeah, and Schufelt, we talk behind the scenes a bit, and he says that his goal right now, like you said, is bulking. He's eating a little bit more carbs. He's using targeted carbs now around his workouts. So I'm considering doing the same. I hear your comments in Keto. So, okay, so maybe spread out the meals a little bit more. Yeah, I would consider it, man. I would consider doing that. I would consider it. What do you think about that Noon Almond Raw guy? Because he says he eats one meal a day, and the guy's like setting world records. He's massive. And he's vegan on top of that. And he says he eats only 1,400 calories. So, what do you think about that? I don't know about that, man. I think that's a little suspect. Master Wanish says once he eats carbs, he gains weight too fast. I second that. If I eat the way I do now, and I ate like a plot of rice, like let's say 2 cups of rice with every meal, I would gain weight so fast. Not just the water weight initially, but I would gain fat and muscle mass. Like you would watch me gain weight week by week. What happened to Kruger? Chris Kruger? He's been working in a gym in LA. And he's been raising his newborn. So him and his wife have just been busy. He hasn't had time to do YouTube stuff. He didn't get silenced. He just hasn't made content in a while. I reached out to him recently. I was like, dude, how you doing? He said he was doing well. Luke Gear says, did high reps push workout today? Can't believe how lightweights are so... Yeah, man. Because it lets you... High reps... What I've noticed is it lets you really hone in on the exact muscle that you want to use because you can use perfect form. You can really squeeze, and man, you can make that muscle just light on fire. And when I was doing high intensity stuff, like low rep but really high intensity work, I would walk away from the gym and I would feel like I didn't even have a workout because my muscles weren't being utilized enough to actually stimulate the growth. I was getting stronger. But yeah, gotta go. Good stream, Drew, and goodbye to the rest of the chat. Peace out, man. Thank you. By the way, if you guys are brand new here, make sure you guys subscribe, please. I would appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit like. That would be a huge help. And please, if you're new to the chat today, please say hi. Just say hi, Drew, in the chat. Just say hi, Drew. Little comment, just so I can see your name. I like seeing new people's names in the chat, and I see new ones every single day. I love that. Feel free to interact. Jenny Smith says, for every 1 gram of carbohydrate you store as glycogen, your body holds onto an ounce of water. That's why when you go low carb, you lose a lot of water weight in the beginning. I do agree with you. I don't know if your numbers are correct. 1 ounce of water sounds like potentially too much. I heard it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every gram of glycogen, you have 3 parts water. Welcome to the Morg gang. So you have, let's say you can store on average 1,500 grams of carbohydrates. Multiply that times 3. What is that? 4,500 grams. That's roughly 10 pounds actually of water weight. That's a lot. So you can fluctuate like 10 pounds based on how much carbohydrate you have in your tank. Devox says, do you do reps till failure? Yes, I do. I've always trained that way. But what I'm doing now is I'm gearing my workout so that my failure comes at 10 to 12 reps versus 5. So before I was only doing 5, very high intensity, like the first rep was like straining my body. So now I'm doing reps to failure, but the failure rep is between 10 and 12 with extreme form and really slow cadence on each rep. You know, you stretch at the top, you squeeze at the bottom, you give it a pause, you keep going. And so you have to have that cadence where you're disciplined and you're making sure that you're working that muscle. So like before I would do bench press, I wouldn't even feel my chest working, but now I bring the bar to my chest, I let it sit there for a second, and then I push it back up slowly. There's no jerking in the motion, none of that. And my chest just feels like it's totally worked. My arms are just roasted. So, Exquisite Red says, hi, Drew. Hey, Exquisite Red. How you doing? Lori Scott says, hi, Drew. Hi, Lori. I think me and Lori talk, don't we? You comment a lot. But thank you for participating in the chat. You can only store about 6 pounds of water and glycogen. I've heard you can store 1,500 grams of carbohydrate as glycogen. So I don't know if that translates. I don't know how that translates. So there you go. Super Saiyan Bino. See, I like Daphne. I like her content. She's a nurse. She puts out great stuff. But just like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you were here, I said, these people always have to have this one thing. And for her, she's a flat earther, which I just find like, really? Why do you have to be a flat earther? Why can't you just do all the things that you do and just be not a flat earther? But anyway, whatever. I'm trying to get her on my show. She said potentially December or January-ish. Anina Monsoon, going to bed now. Good night. Have a good night. Okay, guys, we have actually struck over 3 hours, which is where we like to call it quits. We've got 3 more streams coming up, guys. Tomorrow is going to be Evan Rock. Freaking Evan Rock, man. Do you guys remember that, man? He's been around YouTube forever. Founder of one of the vegan communities in Hawaii. He's a legend in vegan YouTube. I recommend being here for that. We're going to talk to him about all kinds of stuff. He owns a farm in Hawaii. One of my best buddies there. Personal friend of mine. And yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe and hit the little notification thing for that video so that it reminds you the time, because each stream is different timings because of everybody's all over the world. Evan's in Hawaii. We had Kait in Australia. Bobby's in Macedonia or somewhere else in Europe right now. I don't even know where he's at. And then on Sunday, I got Rob Stewart coming on, and he's in New York. So not one person in my time zone. All right, so we are going to call it quits today. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for the super chats. Really appreciate that. And we are going to peace out. See ya.